Players are here, the stage is set. Let's get down for esports!
This is where we also talk about the new stuff that we've got coming out for you all.
HRX is literally my favorite time of year. It truly isn't close. This is what I live for.
If that's second place, I can't wait to see what first place is.
It's HRX.
Welcome in on a Tuesday morning for the SMITE Minor League. My name is Finch, and I'm happy to have you here with me. And you just saw in that short video there about High-Res Expo, you're going to want to make sure that you are there at the end of the year, November 15th through the 17th. It's not just all the best stuff that SMITE and High-Res and all of that stuff that we have to offer, but DreamHack itself is a huge event that you do not want to miss out on. Make sure that you're bringing your friends. Come by and say hey to everyone that's going to be there. But to break down that SML that I mentioned to you earlier, I'm joined here on the desk by Zeros, my man. You might recognize. We've been in the SPL a couple times, maybe here or there, and he's going to be joining me on the desk. How you feeling today, man?
Feeling good, dude. Watch your SML action.
That's right. Hopefully, we'll have some really good sets today. This first one, Horizon Union versus Exordium. I do think that that one could potentially not be maybe as big as some of the other ones that we watched, but there's a couple reasons why I think you want to keep your eye on that one. First, though, let's talk a little bit about the path that everyone's taking towards making their way to the World Championships. First things first, we're in that first phase on the left-hand side. That's just the regular play that you've been watching. That, because it's all leading up to the placement weeks, November 3rd through the 8th. We'll send 4 minor league teams, 4 console teams technically, but then they'll play down to 2, as well as the bottom 4 SPL teams 7th through 10th, and they're fighting for just 2 spots to join the top 6 SPL teams at the World Championships. As I mentioned, that's the 15th through the 17th. It is a grueling process to make it through this. And Zeros, I mean, you were looking at this a little while ago. You do not want to end up in that placement week. I feel like there's a lot of really good teams there.
Yeah, like it's hard to know like how good the SML teams are. Maybe even the console teams.
Sure.
Who knows? Like, imagine losing to a console league when you're playing the SPL, you know, that'd be...
It'd be tough, man. You really just don't want to have to be down there if you can avoid it. So here are those European standings. Remember, I mentioned it's only the top 2 teams that make it. And right now, Flashpoint, who's been very strong lately, are on the outside looking in. That's why their set later on the day is going to be huge. Simplicity, Out Cold, and Flashpoint keeping it a 3-horse race. Hold up a minute. I'm seeing a 3-horse race. Queso are right near there, too, but they won't quite be able to get up to 6 wins. They've already played 9 up until this point, so won't quite be able to get there, but it's basically a 3-horse race for those top 3 teams. But we'll get to those a little bit later. Horizon Union and Exordium, kind of the opposite, the bottom end. But I think there's something to be said for towards the end of the year. You really want to create a little bit of space between yourself and that other bottom end team if you can, especially if you're Horizon Union, a team stacked with experience. I mean, Zeros, is there anything you could speak to that? I mean, even when you're maybe struggling, you still want to be able to come in and show that you all are really strong players.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, even they're at the bottom of SML now, but I feel like more as individual players on the team, like, they want to show off now, right? Because, like, maybe next season they get a chance to join a better SML team, or maybe even do the jump to SPL. Who knows? Like, even if they can't make it to this next LAN coming up, you still wanna definitely show your best performance as an individual player, at least.
You're right, and there's a lot of players that just recently made the jump. Who comes to mind here for me? Like Joshi and Mineral at the SPL. And never know when you're potentially auditioning for a team that's thinking about making a change, so you want to make sure you're putting your best foot forward. We'll move into those picks and bans. Right now, Horizon Union will be in the first pick spot, Exordium in the second. Right away, Thoth bands coming out already, as well as Isis. This all looks fairly standard. We've talked about this before. Just try and get that meta stuff out of there.
Yeah. I'm really interested to see it if they watched the SPL games last week, which I assume they did.
Sure.
How much they're gonna like draft like the SPL team did, you know? Because we saw a lot of like early game junglers in SPL, and we saw like a lot of
coming up now, yeah,
and a lot of Ullr.
Yep.
So like I want to see if they adjust to the SPL drafts, or if they're still gonna keep like with what they like.
Well, Amaterasu was not banned, which means she can be first picked here by Horizon Union Zeros.
Persephone opener.
Persephone is open as well. It's a great point. Horizon Union is picking that over the Persephone, perhaps not feeling 100% confident with it, as Beatman Boss picked by Exordium.
Surely.
And then very likely the Persephone, I assume.
Surely. Yeah,
right?
there we go.
Yeah.
Finally! That's the first time I get to see her while I've been here on the desk, so I'm really interested to see what she can do.
Yeah, she should be quite strong here at this point, Zeros. I mean, she's able to do a bunch of damage from the grave. I mean, the plants are so difficult to play around. I mean, talk to me about why Persephone feels so difficult.
She's just so annoying to deal with. Her laning phase she's like a hook, but you can't kill the corpses, so like
that's right.
How do you deal with that, you know? So hard to deal with. But like then again, she has a really high skill cap, and I wanna see, like, I still think if you're not good enough on that character, I'm pretty sure you can play against it. So I think that's what the Horizon let her through, like to see if they're good enough at it.
That's right. It'll be a question of is that Angry or Itori that's piloting it as well. I imagine that you kind of prefer Persephone in the long lane right about now, so perhaps we'll see Itori be the one that plays it as Horizon Union add the Morrigan and the Khepri. And I know you've been talking about how strong you think Morrigan is here right now as well. So a great pick of Horizon Union, and you can kind of borrow the Unbots and the Persephone.
Interesting what you said about Persephone going to the long lane there, because last week in SPL we actually saw a lot of more mages in the mid lane.
Yeah.
Probably more mages in the mid lane than we saw Hunter. Yeah, for sure. With the new, like the start rank 2 boots at level 1 into Lost Artifact and the rush boots into Duomor, we seem to be really good. Like when you get those 2 item power spike, I feel like the mage become a lot stronger than the hunter you have in mid, so it's going to be interesting to see where they put Ullr or where they put the Persephone here.
We'll almost certainly be seeing that for Morrigan. Those movement speed items have become core for her. A Muzen Cobb and Mercury added. A Muzen Cobb getting a bit of a resurgence, though I don't know if I love the auto attack builds you've seen from him. I know that there's been some change in the way the bees work, but still he's so strong as an ability-based hunter. And the Xing Chen coming through. Which draft do you like it a bit more?
I mean, I must give it to Horizon. They have Morrigan, so.
That's right. They got Morrigan on the team. Good luck trying to deal with her. She has everything you have plus more. That Morrigan certainly can be strong. We'll have our chance to see Horizon Union versus Exordium. Let's start game 1.
Thanks so much, Finch, and Zero's on the desk. Horizon Union up against Exordium. Ryan's going to be calling this one with me, and it's the bottom of the SML taking on, well, the bottom of the SML. And at the start of this split, at the start of the phase, I should say, these two did face off, and it did go 2-1 in Horizon Union's favor. Exordium has only found that one victory so far, up against Flashpoint.
But that was a huge win in the scope of the minor league, right? It changes the entire sort of outcome of this league potentially. And Exordium has looked a lot better as of late, though Horizon Union has also been on a really, really quick rise. They've been playing very, very well, so I'd expect Horizon Union to be the favorite, certainly not just based on the previous performance as you highlighted, but also just the way they've been playing as of late.
Check out the builds at the beginning of the game. Mage's Blessings for the two long laners in Angry and Mr. Stefan on the Morrigan and Persephone. So I guess there's two Persephones in the game. There's an axe in mid lane from Itori. Hits onto Echrome there. No further follow-up. Everybody's got beads, though, for Horizon Union. It's very synergistic.
Yeah, they're all worried about this ultimate from Froisan and from Alka. So just notice that not the usual support in the lineup here for Horizon Union. Asti normally there. This time it's Calvìn. That might be a big difference maker because I think Asti's a major part of why Horizon Union wins a lot of their games. I think that they've been playing very, very well as a core 3v3, and losing your support throws a wrench in that.
This gives us a chance then to Calvìn to really show what he's made of. But he's going to be playing the Khepri, so we'll see how this works out. Zeros was talking on the desk about the Persephone pickup, however, as we watch this matchup in the long lane, short lane, I should say. Long lane and short lane is going to get to me.
Now, yeah.
Just kill me. It's still duo lane and like solo lane. It'll go back to it eventually for sure. I think that's what we're going to see at Worlds anyway. Dumping from Itori there, looking for a bit of pressure onto Markus, but Markus meanwhile goes straight in and gets full pressure onto Froisan, thrown under the tower. And with one tower shot, that's always going to be enough of that area to bring down a kill.
Just a little bit over-aggressive there from Froisan. You cannot be jumping aggressively at a tower line against a Mercury. That's going to get you killed just about every time. Speaking of getting killed, Calvìn going to fall on that right-hand side. Just level 2s against level 1s, you got to favor those, especially when one of those level 2s is King Arthur.
And that just teaches you basic math. Numbers are good. The higher the number, the more likelihood it's going to be a better position. Go back to the Persephone pickup, though, for Angry here. Zero's the same. He feels it's a high skill cap god, and you can play around it, potentially.
Yeah, I think that it is a god. It's one of the hardest gods to master. She plays differently than every other god in the entire game. And she has a lot of very potent tools. However,
when they're ready.
When they're ready, and it does require pre-planning or using your flourish aggressively. That's the big thing that, as I'm trying to understand and master this god, that has really stood out to me, is that you have to be able to dash aggressively in some of your lane matchups in order to really get the ball rolling in your favor. But it's because it's a hard god to play, and there's a lot of differences with this god. It's also going to be a harder god to play against at first. We see this with new gods all the time.
Sure.
They dominate when they come out, partially because they're good sometimes, but partially because people just don't know how to play against it quite yet. And I think that's more true for Persephone than most. I do think that she will get worse as people get more used to playing against her and understand how to not get hit by her plants all the time and things of that nature, but does that mean she's not good? Absolutely not. This god does a lot of things really, really well.
I completely agree. It is one of those experiences, though, of a new god comes out, people have to work on. Speaking of new gods coming out, Umoja in the game today.
That's right.
First
Patch day,
time.
baby.
So I'm expecting everyone to scream she's OP next, and Persephone will probably still be on the ban chart to an extent, but she may fall from that #1 spot I've picked every game.
Umoja is so cool. I cannot wait to go home and play. Man, I'm pumped for it.
I can't wait to put 2 walls down that do 90% slow and everyone inside it. Very excited.
That seems good to me. I don't know.
Just a little bit, you know.
You're saying numbers are good. 90 seems like a lot.
90 seems like a lot, yeah. Pressure at this blue buff on the right-hand side, but Horizon Union do manage to defend their own buff there. Nobody ends up falling down. However, mid lane Echrome just needs one more auto to bring down Itori, and he just can't get around that corner quick enough. But now, a little bit of an overextension there. Unfortunately, Froisan only level 4. Won't have the Fear No Evil available to try and put more pressure on Echrome here. However, a bit of pressure from Alka's good. Not enough for a kill, however.
Man, if Echrome had ultimate, or had enough mana for his ultimate, then this would be a kill onto Alka, but just a little bit too short in the mana department for him. Echrome showing off what I've known my entire life, and that's that being left-handed is superior. AMC able to hit that auto attack because he's the only hunter that shoots from the left-hand side.
Did you say being because there's B involved too? There?
Well, yeah, sure. Yep, I
was
did that
trying to show you
intentionally.
intelligence.
Yeah, and I am agreeing, and
Okay.
that's what I meant. So
Well
yes,
played.
thank you for understanding.
Well played, but you're right. Left-handed is the way. There's not many left-handed gods in Smite, funny enough. I believe 3? I want to say it's 3.
Besides AMC?
Well, technically Churn's ambidextrous, right?
Yeah.
So that's technically left-handed too.
No, that's ambidextrous.
You're right. I feel there's another one at least.
I don't think so.
No, there's got to be.
I don't think so.
Someone's gonna complain that we don't know our left-handed gods now. I swear, I think there is one. Now the pressure in the jungle, though, as Alka got very low there, but that Fear No Evil from Froisan was beautiful. Yep. Beads were even used by Echrome there, which is even worse, but Markus is answering back in tow. He does at least get Alka. Sonic Boom being charged. Won't find Froisan there. Markus just out of range.
I think a little bit greedy on that transformation target for Mr. Stefan. I mean, that is a ambitious option. Optimistic, maybe a better word, that you're going to land that ultimate, especially when Froisan knows it's coming.
All right, Morrigan's in the game.
Yeah.
Persephone's in the game.
Yeah.
If Morrigan dies as Persephone,
no clue.
Do we know?
No clue.
That's the fun of being a caster.
No
because
clue
everybody
at
at
all.
home expects us to know all these interactions.
So
it's like,
we did
how do
change
we?
the Morrigan so she would inherit item passive stacks. Right. I do not think she would inherit the passive stacks from the pomegranate seed, so I do not think that she would revive.
Gotcha.
That is my
I
guess.
expect that's the case too, thinking about the pomegranate seeds. But there's an outside shot.
Yep, there's always a shot.
A slight outside shot that we may see. But then the question is, does she die when the passive runs out, or does she die when the Morrigan clone has to de-transform? Who knows? Calvin needs to know that there's no help coming at this moment in time. He's going to get spun around, the ultimate used on himself, but it's not going to help him out of danger, I don't think, at this point. However, a lot was used by Exordium, so it's going to give him a bit of confidence on the escape and maybe bait Exordium a little bit too deep in the jungle. Not to be, though. Calvin still falls down. Third death of the game.
I've been watching a lot of these Mercury players with the different styles because Adapting's been playing it a whole lot. I know I was watching Scream play it on stream last night. It's just a pick that people are starting to pick up a little bit more. And I really like the Erendite rush. I think that Scream did that in an SPL game recently where you start boots 1 with your Assassin's Blessing, finish your boots, and then go straight into Erendite. And it's an item that we don't see a whole lot of. It's really been a Circuit-only item because it procs instantly on Last Breath. But I think it's actually pretty sick on Mercury. Normally a character that doesn't get a lot of CDR, but certainly doesn't hate it because his 1 cooldown's already fairly low. Sure. You want a little bit more cooldown in the dash. The ultimate is really solid. And then the passive is just bonkers on him. I mean, he does so much damage and gets all this movement speed and reveals everyone, which just gives him more damage during that time. I think it smooths the curve we've seen Adapting to the Rage Rush.
Into the... I think it was in Alden later on from him too, right?
I don't know if he went Erendite. I know he started with Hidden Dagger and then went straight into Rage. And that feels good, but you don't have enough power to really make your crits need to be respected.
Sure.
And the Erendite does that for you. I think that the boots Erendite crit Rage Rush right after that sort of build path makes a lot of sense to me, and I'd like to see more Mercury start to do it.
Alka just looked for a bit of a play on Calvin again there, but Calvin just abducts away from the whirlwind of Rage and Steel. Will survive for the time being. This is 4-3 on the scorecards at the moment. Gold leads, well, marginal at best in the lead for Exordium here. But coming into this set, as we said, Horizon Union are probably the favourites with how the start of the phase went against these two. Exordium's only really found that one win over Flashpoint. Like we said, it was a big win that did kind of influence the top of the standings in EU.
And Horizon Union's on their fair share of messing with the top end as well. I mean, I think they beat Simplicity, or at least forced them to game 3. I mean, this is a team that has that potential as well. So I think both sides have a really great upside, and these expansion teams of the minor league, as I've kind of been calling them, the 5th and 6th, they got added here in Phase 2. Certainly in Europe have been very, very successful. Hype Unit in North America, one of the top teams. That's been a great expansion squad. Exilium has been a little bit less exciting, I'd say, but overall, I think that these 5th and 6th seed teams have actually been a pretty solid addition to the minor league.
Well, buffs down in the jungle at the moment. First thing up is going to be the speed for Froisan. Already, though, Markus has his around his waist and rotating towards this right-hand side in the Amaterasu versus King Arthur matchup. One of the ones that I think we'll see to the end of the time, for the most part, at this point in the game.
Certainly, at least until we see a change, or a nerf,
or a new god, something like that. Froisan, full combo. That was really nice from Markus as well. Sonic Boom to the right angle, then the special delivery too. Now Terrorem rotating in onto Alka, who was trying to answer back the kill onto Froisan. 2 deaths for Exordium already, but Angry's arrived in time to make sure Calvin pays the price.
And Cozy as well with a ton of extra damage coming in on that rotation. That was really felt. Hit the whole team with that hamstring very nicely, but still a 2-for-1 in favor of Exordium. The fact that Calvin doesn't get his ultimate off feels a little bit bad, but I think that King Arthur burst damage caught him a little bit off guard. I was just talking about the Erendite rush, but Markus showing us why the stone cutting certainly works out pretty well on top of that. This is the other first item that you see a lot of Mercuries go for. The 7% movement speed is very valuable because, of course, that converts to power on the Mercury. But I don't know. I still feel like the Erendite might have a little bit of a better spot. Is there a big difference?
Is it expensive, though, in cost-wise compared to that?
No, it should be about the same. If my memory serves. I believe that Erendite, a lot of those Arthurian items are a little bit in the middle of the pack as far as cost goes. You see Mirrodin really the only one that really costs a whole bunch, but across the board, I would expect that Erendite, let's see here. Can't see on my app because it wasn't working there.
Well, while you're looking that up as well, we will talk about Angry on this Persephone again. We saw this lifesteal build coming in through with the Bancroft's Rush, because we talked a little bit about build options with Doom Orbs for mages, and I do think Persephone could make good use of Doom Orb. However, the lifesteal options from Bancroft's just play so well into his skill set. We saw Hurrywind, I believe, was the real proponent of showing that off the first time when she was available in the SPL.
It's a must-buy. You have to be buying this item in my mind.
Is it first, though?
Yes.
Is it after boots? Is that the first thing you do?
Yeah, I think so. Because you get full passive when you're dead. You get the full Bancroft's passive, so you're doing a little bit less damage, sure, but then you get 200 power. So you're feeling pretty decent about it. I think that this is an item that should be bought basically every single time on Persephone. By the way, Erendite, 2,600 gold, stone cutting 2,500.
25. Yeah, so there's no real difference between the two. Nope. I guess whether you want protections or not. Markus was checking if Itori had any there with that Sonic Boom, but he didn't hit. And now Alka gets to punish with the Whirlwind of Rage Steel. Nice revive comes through, as you say, from Calvin there, just to keep Markus alive. And that was a nicely timed play from Horizon Union, but very well answered by Exordium.
That was beautiful, and that's where Calvin's Purification Beads actually came up huge. The fact that the support picks those up, because he was also grabbed in that Whirlwind.
Could do with him right about now. The abduct goes straight towards Cozy, who's just cutting off the angle. Alka does also get the kill onto Echrome, but the turnaround play is here as Horizon Union try to answer back. Exordium being deep in their enemy jungle. Froisan ends up falling down, and Markus and Terrorem trying to give some chase. They've got extra mobility here as Markus closes the gap. He just can't find the punches.
Man, that rotation from Cozy just puts him in the perfect spot. Sits between Tier 1, Tier 2 tower, is able to jab both Echrome and Calvin with that Sundering Strike at the exact same time. That could not have been any more perfect for the Solo Lane.
Gold Fury started up by Horizon Union. Markus on his own duty, making sure Angry can't get into the Gold Fury pit. But Mr. Stefan and Terrorem alone can't really bring that Gold Fury down quick enough at this moment in time. So they end up having to fall back after Exordium showed that they knew it was going on.
That fight does much better for Horizon Union than I thought it would because of a really nice transformation by Mr. Stefan. Chose the perfect option, which was the Hun Batz, with everyone grouped up from Exordium all around that entrance to the jungle. Got a lot of purification beads there. That's an opportunity now for Horizon Union to have a good fight.
Speaking of purification beads, Angry does not have any, and that's giving Stefan a chance to close the gap. But he just didn't find the stun.
It's a little bit too far away. Just a bit unlucky there for Mr. Stefan, I suppose.
And now the Gold Fury could be potentially on the cards again, as Angry's going to be heading back towards the base. But Itori's hanging around on this Ullr. Echrome spots him out. This is going to be a fight over the Oracles for an extra bit of vision for a few seconds, just to keep what's going on there and keep eyesight on any potential pressure. I do think the Oracles are very meh. It's farm on the map. They don't make a huge influence in the Gold Fury these days. A lot of the teams recognize it. But I guess it just cuts off avenues for like the Thanatoses, the Thors with those globals to try and ult from there towards duo or mid.
I mean, I'm down to get any neutral farm in the entire map
of course.
anyways, and I get to save 50 gold by not having to place a ward on that area. So it's really...
do you buy wards anyway? That's the real question.
well, I do. Maybe I should buy less of them because my team doesn't pay attention to them anyways. I mean, who cares, you know?
Listen, if you're a mid laner and you're playing the game now and someone complains about wards, just make sure you keep the Oracles on cooldown in your team's favor, and you're technically placing wards. That's genius.
That's right. That should go in my wards place category. That's a good point, Hindu.
Well, if you get both, if you get the last hit on the last one, you should get the ward counted. It's not a real ward, though, is it? Technically.
It's better.
Is it? Because you can't be killed?
Yeah, can't
But
clear
it lasts less time.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
Why does that not matter?
Because they can't clear it.
So because they can't clear it, it balances out with being shorter.
Yeah.
Well, even though they've got the Oracles right about now, Horizon Union, they're going to need some help here. Markus is trying to Sonic Boom, but Alka just cancel that out with a nice little up-down. And a nice Gold Fury for Horizon Union. Exordium got caught out there. I'm very surprised by that. And now the pressure in the jungle is Terrorem trying to wrap around the back and punish them for it. Markus gets Itori. Alka now surrounded and needs some help, but he's tanky enough to weather the storm. And Calvìn, misinadvertently there, just body blocks Mr. Stefan. Following up with that, and now the overextension from Horizon Union gets punished as Cozy arrives with the blink.
No one helped out Calvìn, man. He was locked in on that Persephone ultimate. Then he goes, well, I guess I'll break myself out. And right as it ends up falling away, which just pulled him further out of position. Bit unfortunate timing for him. Clearly not super familiar with the duration quite yet. It's another one of those things that takes some time to really get an innate feel for when playing against a character like Persephone.
Man, how much would you hate if you got the Oracles on cooldown and then your team still loses the Gold Fury when you can see it?
Yeah, that's that is pretty brutal. It was a really good zone by Alka, though.
Really
I mean,
was.
His knockup really interrupted Markus, who would have had a very nice really nice Sonic Boom through the Gold Fury as it was getting to that perfect steal potential. But Froisan still uses that Fear No Evil just in case someone's going to come in. Just felt like a bit of not an overcommit from Exordium, but they have to do a better job of disengaging as fast as possible. Problem is, when Terrorem's making the Amaterasu rotation between Tier 1, Tier 2 tower, and is playing Ama, who's super fast, how are you supposed to disengage from that?
Echrome as well in the mid lane, got fully stacked Transcendence now. Same could be said for Itori. Gone for the Crusher option on the AMC. Something that I was interested to see if we would still see get picked up. And even if we see AMC getting picked up with the nerfs he's taken. His passive, the bees, do not proc item effects anymore. So Crusher isn't as OP as it once did, but the stat itemization is still good.
It's everything he still wants. I mean, he still has 3 damaging abilities that are going to proc the Crusher. It's still pen, attack speed, power. You love those stats on a hunter like this. I think it's totally fine.
Echrome under pressure here, has to beads away from the up-down from Alka. And Cozy over the wall, just going to throw out some damage to show that he was hanging around too, but Terrorem trying to wrap around the back too. And now Cozy's overextended, the rest of his team fall away. The burst on Cozy's good, but not good enough to find a kill just yet. He slips the net. Meanwhile, in the back of that, Alka did get focused too. And now the turnaround is on for Horizon, who looks to still fight. Fear No Evil from Mr. Stefan. I believe that wasn't good enough, but Calvìn with a beautiful revive.
That was a great reaction time, and they break out just in time because Cozy was hunting for him. Both Echrome and Mr. Stefan survive on just the slightest sliver of HP.
Markus was just thinking about coming in around the back, but I think he just got spotted out now, has to fall back. He's the only one with an ultimate left standing for Horizon Union at the moment. As Exordium, they were the aggressors. Then they answered the call as well when they got aggressed on themselves. Could look for a bit of pressure onto this tier 1 in mid. Another set of beads consumed here as Markus forced to use his.
That's what the Ullr is there for, as a beads burner for this Hun Batz and the Xing Chen, but every fight that's gone pretty well for Horizon Union has been because Mr. Steffens found a good transformation. That one was not. I mean, just way too early on it. Probably thought that Echrome was going to continue to be under siege in that jungle, but as soon as Alka and Cozy back up, that Hunbat's transformation became completely worthless.
Yeah, I was kind of confused about when he dropped out Fear No Evil, whether it was the tail end of the Fear No Evil, whether he wanted to go for zone, is what it... The ult ended up being a zone tool.
Yeah,
but I don't think it was intentional.
No, he was running out of time on the transformation, and if it's going to just go away anyway, so you may as well use it. Maybe Itori or Angry uses Purification Beads by accident.
It's the same rule as a mage, you know? If you're going to get all in, you should at least fire your ult off.
Yeah, exactly. Just get it off if you can. Just not a great sequence for Horizon Union, and now they are really in trouble because look at their relic situation. 4 of the 5 sets of beads all on cooldown right now. Exordium, on the other hand, every defensive relic up. Blink coming up in 15, 30 seconds for Froisan and Cozy each. I mean, this should be I'm pulling Fire Giant if I'm Exordium. I mean, you force Horizon Union to fight you on at any terms because your CC chain is so good. And neither carry has any relics.
Well, Primal Fury is coming up in 40 seconds as well. They could look towards that side of the map.
It's too late.
It's if Exordium know, however, that that's the situation they're in, where they have this sort of pressure on the map. Do they realize they've got that many beads now?
That's someone's job in the team fights is to keep track of all of that.
Whose job is it, would you say? Because like, what role should be the one doing that with how easy it is? You know, for
it really can be anybody.
Right.
I've seen teams that have their hunter do it because they have, someone will say it in mid lane because there's a fight going on, and so you just let the hunter type in the timer or the soul leader type in the timer because they have less to worry about at the time. It's kind of just a one-on-one. Mid laners, junglers, supports all do it very often because they're in the thick of the battle. It's kind of team to team and player to player at that rate in my mind. It's just whoever kind of is willing and able to take on that extra responsibility without losing momentum in what the other normal responsibilities.
Exordium pull the Primal Fury now. Sonic Boom being charged by Markus on the backside for Horizon Union, looking to just shred through to the back line. Wrapping round is Mr. Stefan. Sonic Boom is used. Primal Fury reset, but it's Calvin that could be a casualty first. Excalibur's consumed. The Fear No Evil from Stefan keeps him alive, and that bought a bit more time, but the Fear No Evil in response comes through from Froisan, and that's going to allow Calvin to die. Markus does at least take down, I believe, Alka there, but Terrorem falls to Froisan with that Fear No Evil in tow, and so Exordium managed to make that a 2-for-2. Carry situation is relatively even.
Feels like that should have been more in Exordium's favor if they would have just forced a fight before the Fury spawned. I really think that they should have been going to Pyromancer or Fire Giant or grouping up on a tower, because Horizon Union would have had to concede a tower at the very least with their relic situation. I think that was a really big missed opportunity.
I will say, going for the Fire Giant at 18 minutes is a little bit worrisome to me. Maybe the group and I would have agreed with maybe going for a tier 1, tier 2 and just trying 5-man down mid. Could have been an option for them there. So pressure's relieved. The Primal Fury still stands for now. Gold lead is still 3,000 in Exordium's favor for the moment. But that tier 1 on the left-hand side is getting a little bit lower. It's the only real lowest one on the map at the moment. Horizon Union just technically holding on at the moment, because I do feel as the game goes on, the more dangerous they'll become.
I agree. I mean, they've got an Amaterasu and a Mercury. Those are really hard to deal with. Morrigan in the late game, still one of the best gods in the entire game. Exordium's late game isn't horrible. I mean, late game Hunbatz is really hard to deal with at times. Xing Chen becomes a real beast. Persephone's already level 20, but getting to 6 items is going to be a big deal for Angry. But I just don't think it matches the late game prowess that Horizon Union's draft has.
And you mentioned the Morrigan there as well. Once she gets a late game, she really can all in you without her ultimate and get a kill. She's one of the very few, I'd say, can do that effectively.
I completely agree. No Doom Orb, though, for Mr. Stefan, which is very surprising. Morrigan loves movement speed. I would have liked to see him go for something.
Did go for Polynomicon. And now Exordium, though, going to pull the Primal Fury again. They want to continue the aggression. Fear No Evil this time from Froisan is nice and early. Calvin did have his ultimate up, but didn't panic in that situation. Cozy going to try and get towards Echrome, but gives up the goose when Calvin shows his face. It's allowing Horizon Union to start pressuring back towards the Fury Pit again. Exordium, meanwhile, had reset it and are waiting for the right opportunity. They want to try and force a fight. They want to get kills, I guess, and force some ultimates.
This is exactly where Persephone loves to be, set in an area.
Oh, Alka just got bursted. No chance of escape there. Great size from Terrorem. really set that up with the Stinger of Echrome 2. And now Exordium realizing they're remembered down a front line of that. They have to fall back. Horizon Union trying to take the opportunity with both hands to take the Primal Fury and will manage it. But now with Cozy deep into enemy territory around this pit, he needs some help. The ultimate came through from Calvìn. Calvìn does die at the tail end to Angry and the Plants of Doom, but Echrome will at least punish him for that, as they still try and take the Oracles right in his face.
I mean, Angry will do what he can on the way out, but that's going to do that. I mean, that was just a really good engagement by Horizon Union to be patient and then use their CC when it mattered most. I mean, Echrome was doing so much damage now on this AMC. Picks up a Rune-Forged Hammer. Not so sure about this one. I mean, it's a little bit of HP, which he probably likes. It's power. It works well when you're slowing them, of course. But there's a big clause there. Does not include knockbacks, blinds, or grabs. Khepri Abduct is a grab, so you're not going to be doing that 15% more damage.
But he's Root.
While Root, sure, but he's hitting the frontliners majority of the time when they're being abducted, and so you won't get that extra. You won't get that extra damage. In fact, that even if they're slowed during that grab, it might take away your Runeforged passive.
Because the grab prioritizes over
because the grab might prioritize. So that is a potential problem. Not sure on that little interaction, but overall, I just don't think that this is really worth the slot for Echrome.
I think that's always been the awkwardness with Runeforged, because it does feel like it would be pretty potent on almost any god because of the passive effect.
Yeah.
And the fact it gives you health. But then when you think about the compositions you're against and with, it could be a damage loss because you're reliant so much on applying those CCs first of all.
The knockups one is the big one.
You reckon?
Sure. That it's most of the time you can't. The fact that you're not getting extra damage off knockups hurts you.
Because they're in the sky. Really quick fire giant from Horizon Union there. We saw them group up nice and quick. I was thought we'll take a bit of a second of a dance more than likely, but Horizon Union wasted no time. And nobody from Exordium was really here. Cozy was the closest, and now Cozy's dead. As he was trying to rotate back to the safety of his tier 2. Horizon Union want to take a tier 2 out. The problem is there's still a tier 1 standing. Exordium not going to make the same mistake as they send Itori and Trojan to mid. They could get a Phoenix though.
I think so too. I mean, this is
a Phoenix if they stay.
Good pressure, but Terrorem back, so that'll end this push for sure.
But now Terrorem, does he have a teleport available? No is the answer. You could see a rotation out of Exordium to defend the tier 2 in a 4-on-4, but won't be the case. Instead, Angry throws out the ult, but just can't find the target, and that's giving Markus a window around the back, who blinks on in and punches Angry in the back of the head. He'll be even more frustrated after that one, as now Alka being chased through the jungle as Echrome tries to dance away from the pressure the plant Death Lady will give you. Markus does eventually get Alka as Horizon Union march on towards a Phoenix and right.
Now it looks like a Phoenix guaranteed for Horizon Union. 3 seconds on Cozy coming up. We've seen that he isn't the scariest member.
From Itori, but at the tail end the Phoenix still falls. Fino even Froisan doesn't get a kill, and Calvìn, however, did have to use the ultimate there to keep himself topped up just in case he did fall down. 5k gold lead then. Fire Giant on for about another 2.5 minutes. But more importantly, the Phoenix has fallen for Exordium.
Now it is the best Phoenix for Exordium to defend because they've got Fire Giant coming up in a while, but it'll be up before that Phoenix respawns, so you don't want to end up having to defend left Phoenix on a right side objective. So it could be worse for Exordium, but certainly not looking good because Markus is going unchecked in these team fights. I mean, he has full crit with the fully stacked Rage and the Deathbringer, going for a Wind Demon or a Poison Star next.
Do you need more crit after Rage and Deathbringer?
Yeah, man.
You think so?
Yeah, because if you go in and you auto 3 times and you don't crit any of those, then you're probably not killing them and you're in trouble.
But
you gotta guarantee it.
Is that guaranteed at that point? I think like with the crit percentages there, it's not worth investing more. I am a gambler too.
Listen, man, for me, because I'm really unlucky, I definitely wouldn't get enough.
You just don't pick crit then, do you?
Yeah,
that's why you play mages.
That's right.
You want your Soul Reavers, right? They're
guaranteed.
Ethereal, guaranteed.
That's right. I don't have to mess with these numbers.
Still gonna hit though.
Well, yeah, but that is also unlucky when I miss, for what it's worth.
Yeah, that's the easy part for the most of the time. Tier 2 down on the left-hand side, then Horizon Union group up with the Tier 2 in mid lane. It's all up to Exordium now to try and defend the siege. The question is where the siege will come from. At the moment, Horizon Union not going to look for the Phoenix siege on the left or mid. The Gold Fury is spawning soon, and the Fire Giant is about to wear off in the next 60 seconds. They may try and hope that someone in Exordium tries to contest this. I don't think you contest if you're Exordium right now. Or do you?
I mean, you know Echrome's relics are both down, and that's probably why Horizon Union isn't pushing at this moment. Maybe that's enough to get you to want to go aggressive in this moment, but feels ambitious to me. I mean, you still are fighting into a Fire Giant team. If this were a Gold Fury with Fire Giant off of Horizon Union, I think that we might see Exordium contest in that moment, but not with Fire Giant buff still for him.
Surprised they sent so many people there with how much damage I was seeing from those crit numbers from Markus. I think he could have just soloed that with a single tank and had the rest of the team pushing up lanes and farming around, but maybe they were worried about the all-in strategy, as you said, with Echrome not having those relics available. They'll be up momentarily as the Fire Giant wears off in the next 10 seconds, though. Might be a bit of a stall opportunity unless Froisan, and I believe it was actually Alka with him, gets picked off on the right-hand side, which won't happen. Horizon, you're just going to have to do a bit of waiting round because they will want this next Fire Giant.
And it's not going to take them long. We saw how quickly they were able to do the first one, and it's Ama passive plus damage boost plus Mercury with crit. It's not going to take you long to do objectives like Fire Giant. Yeah, it would be. You could kill that thing in 3 seconds flat.
Well, in a few seconds' time as well, it will hit the 30-minute mark, and that will be the enhanced Fire Giant, which, well, it's just more enhanced than the original Fire Giant, and that does exactly what you expect it to do. More of everything.
It's really good. It's actually a huge deal, I think, especially the fact that it removes those backdoor protections on Phoenixes and towers, but we don't have to worry about those right now. It is really, really difficult to be able to defend against those enhanced fires.
Now, there is a window for Exordium to get back in this, though, and I'm not writing them off just yet with how the Fire Giant could be. I mean, Fear No Evil's very, very impactful. Persephone's ultimate, as well as the Whirlwind of Rage and Steel. They could steal this away, and as we were just talking about how good the enhanced Fire Giant could be, it could come in handy. Itori forced to beads away from the pressure from Markus. He chased in for the Fear No Evil, Sonic Boom, but eats a Fear No Evil from Froisan. The throw-in from Alka towards Calvìn. And now Calvìn traps in space, but good route on Angry to keep him out of the fray and allow Stefan to walk in and kill him. Cozy does get to Echrome on the backside, but Calvin's there to support again with the Khepri and Peel. Meanwhile, Mr. Stefan transforming to the monkey helps to bring down Itori, but now he's having to re-transform back to the Morrigan again, and the damage from Froisan and Alka is going to be enough.
Terrorem, if he could land this too, is going to be enough with that Dark Omen, but he whiffs the dash and the reflective mirror. That one cannot feel particularly good. A rough team fight for Horizon Union, despite having a big advantage in that moment. And it's because Markus just got in there way too early. I mean, he wanted to hit the gas pedal, and the rest of Horizon Union were a little bit slow on the uptake. Yeah. A good Fear No Evil separates Calvìn from Markus. And Calvìn doesn't use Purification Beads. Markus does, but needed that Scarab's Blessing right away, and Calvìn was CC'd, so we couldn't give it to him.
I would have liked to see Echrome actually go to that right lane as well, because they had a full 5-minion wave there. You had Calvìn and Terrorem with him. With that moment in time, Exordium had to base. There was a small window, I think, that Echrome could have looked at that Phoenix with the minion wave, but c'est la vie, won't to be. So that Phoenix will respawn, get defended. Fire Giant is enhanced now and available. Crazy fight, though, in the jungle from both teams, and if anything, it comes out in favor of Exordium for being able to get their Phoenix back up without losing too much.
Now, it is worth noting that a lot of these relics for Horizon Union are already upgraded, whereas Exordiums are not. So if you're trading beads for beads, like we saw a lot in that last engagement, that does favor Horizon Union because theirs are just on a shorter cooldown.
Markus in the mid lane now, just looking to pressure the minions as Froisan jumps over the wall looking for an opportunity. Didn't find that one there for the time being. Into the pit we go then as Horizon Union start to set up around the Fire Giant. Wall coverage is in their favor at the moment, but the angles are pretty good. You've got Froisan trying to flank around the left-hand side here from the middle area. Clearing out wards on the way to prevent some of the options of Horizon Union seeing him. But look at the damage on the FG. The crits are swinging. Alka and Cozy just walk straight in though towards Markus. And Markus gets hit with the ultimate from Cozy. It's going to force out his beads. Stefan on the backside though does get to Itori as he's collapsing alongside Terrorem, and Angry's dead too. Cozy meanwhile does finally kill the AMC. At least the backlines from both teams are causing problems. However, the dying Angry on that Persephone still managed to get hold of Stefan and find a kill. Exordium are tied up at 3-3. Oh, make that 3-2 as Horizon Union find Froisan. And now surrounded is Cozy. Markus with the double. This could be 3.
Markus is just doing too much damage, man. He gets out of that team fight just in time and makes a huge difference. Has the Blood Forge, so can sustain up a little bit off these camps. Alka cannot afford to stick around here.
No, he's just trying to buy time, I guess. If we can keep him busy, he's very tanky, but the crits are just too much to handle, even through the amount of armor he's got on himself. And the chase potential from a Khepri and an Amaterasu, it's going to be too much. Now, granted, I guess he delayed them doing FG a little bit quicker.
It's actually better this way.
Because they can respawn, right?
Yeah, this is actually better for Horizon Union because now they can wait to secure the Fire Giant until Echrome and Mr. Stefan spawn and not worry about the amount of damage they've taken. Just got to wait those 3 seconds for Mr. Stefan, and they'll finish it off. Mr. Stefan has a great fight there. I mean, this is why Morrigan has so much potential. It's that if you just have a good team fight where you transform into the right target, are able to get into the back line, half health them with your combo, more than that really, 70% them, and then transform, it's pretty easy for you to win a team fight for your squad, and Mr. Stefan does just that with the double kill onto both Itori and Angry, neither of whom had relics, if my memory serves. So that was a big deal in that moment. Now, Itori has relics back up, Angry has Aegis back up. That could potentially change the outcome of a potential Phoenix Siege. And don't forget, Persephone might rise up to the level of Kukulkan and gods like that on gods that are really hard to siege against. Opwash, gods like that. She gets to set up that garden, and you've got to come into it. Look at that left-hand side. Yeah, does that look fun?
I mean, no. I mean, if I'm on that team, I'm excited about it, but those plans are just waiting and willing.
This is going to be good. I'm excited about this. They're all going to transform into the tier 3, the flower version, right on time. Yeah, that is a lot of perspective damage lined up right here.
No destroying them. There's no canceling them out like Alka. Nope, corpses. You just got to sit there and watch these plants one by one charge you down. Turn them into zombies. That's what's going to happen there. 15-23 is the scoreline at the moment between these two. And it's all looking good for Horizon Union there. I will say Exordium's fight the Fire Giant was pretty good. I just wish Cozy and Alka continued the chase on Echrome and Markus, because I think they could have turned that around a little bit quicker, but they wanted to peel off, and that kind of cost them in the backside because their backline was being routed at the same time. Bit surprised to see Horizon Union group at the mid and the left-hand side when this is a weak one on the right. You start to see the adjustment here as Markus will be the one off to this right-hand side. Got to be careful, though, because him and Froisan could go at it. Could be a bit of a problem. It will at least cost him his beads if the Fear No Evil's used.
Froisan does a lot of damage, so it's not an easy win for Mark necessarily. Alka able to get out of that pluck range, and Terrorem's taking a lot.
And a great little ult from Alka actually gets the beads out of Terrorem there. And I believe Calvin's was actually already used beforehand. But on this left-hand side, Cozy's dealing with Echrome, and Echrome forced to get ulted by Calvin, who rotates in late to the fight. Stefan transforms into the monkey and drops the Fear No Evil. And Itori's still going to survive on the backside, as now the dive from Horizon Union is too painful to handle. Froisan turns up at the right time with a Fear No Evil, and that gets Angry a kill onto Terrorem, as well as Markus falling. And the damage dealers are all dead, with Calvin being down, as is the Blessing. The Bean needs to run. It's to be or not to be? That is the question.
A lot of low health bars, but that's a full deicide. I agree. I think that's game over. I mean, they've got to go right down mid lane. They won't have minions. And
hang on, it's tight. Let me work it out. No, Itori's on full health. They can do this. I was just looking at like who could tank the timing.
And Cozy has teleport. Yeah, I think that's game.
Yeah, if Cozy's there, that should be game.
Man, great ultimate from Alka. Picks up both tanks. That's a big deal. But then just a botched engage on that left-hand side for Horizon Union. Those two things stacked together. Froisan, perfect timing on his ultimate. And the fact that Angry survives Mr. Stefan's attempt at his life, it might be the difference maker here.
Hold on, how long we got? 10 seconds on Markus, 10 seconds on Terrorem. But will the Titan stand long enough? The answer, I'm waiting to find out if it's a yes or a no. It's definitely going to be a no. Exordium take game 1, surprisingly enough.
Big comeback, and hey, Persephone, pretty difficult to siege against, it turns out. I mean, even the little things like Markus taking 15% of his health in that mid lane and kind of forcing him over to the other side of the map ends up making a big difference there. And yeah, Persephone's pretty good, I guess.
I will say, I think what we saw at Horizon Union there was great play, but when it comes to the Phoenix Siege there, they had 1 member left, 3 in mid, 1 right. Pick 2. Don't try all 3. It looked like they were trying to overconfidence that, and that hurt them.
I mean, Markus did rotate mid, but I don't know. It was just kind of an awkward engagement all around. I think that Alka just played it really well, and then the engagement by Markus and Terrorem just wasn't particularly strong.
Well, let's see what Finch and Zeros have to say about that game 1 on the desk.
Thanks, Hindu. Thank you, Aggro, as well. Wow, man, I had a whole bunch of stuff written down about how well Horizon Union have played. I was ready to break the game down and talk about Markus's sick Mercury in the early game. All that's irrelevant now, apparently, at the last minute. Somehow Exordium snatched this game away from Horizon Union and Zeros, man. I mean, I guess sometimes that can just happen on a Phoenix Siege where things go that wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Persephone is super hard to siege against
She
as well.
is.
She had plans already set up in both lanes that they tried to siege, so like, super good at defending, obviously, but like, then again, I thought that game was just over. Like, Markus on the Mercury, as you mentioned, just played so well, and like, it seemed like they couldn't lose team fights, but then one bad fight in this game.
Yeah, it's just really tough, man. They did kind of stall a little bit, though. I would say Horizon Union were in control a good bit early into this game, like around the 21-minute mark or so, and they were starting up around the Fire Giant, starting to make some pushes, and they couldn't quite break the base of Exordium. I think that this defense from them was a little bit too strong. Alka playing very well on the Xing Chen. You already mentioned this Persephone performance from Angry as well, who took it to the long lane this time, as opposed to the way they normally line up, and it just felt like Horizon Union couldn't quite break that base.
Yeah, also have to mention that Morrigan, her biggest struggle is sieging.
Sure.
Because obviously you want to initiate with stealth, you can't do that in a Phoenix, obviously, because you get detected as soon as you enter. So that's a big weakness, but then again, I'm kind of happy to see... Actually, never mind. I wanted to see Persephone lose, because I've been saying I think teams should let her through, you know,
right,
and see if she really is that good. But I guess it turns out that she's that good, so I'm pretty sure she has 100% win ratio in SPL as well. She's got played like 3 times or something, and she won every game.
The few times she gets through, she tends to do stuff like this. And I mean, and there were a lot of really good fights earlier on in the game. There was a fight that Markus started off in the middle lane. He hits multiple people with this, or one person with the Sonic Boom, takes them down. But then Persephone rotates in, finds a big ultimate. I mean, that Grasp of Death ability, it really does create so much extra utility for the team between the people that are tethered, between the people that are actually stuck in the cage, and having to turn around and auto it. It does so much for your team in the middle of a fight that it's just a huge tool that can't be mimicked.
Oh my god, that Morrigan damage.
It's not bad, is it?
Morrigan is a pretty good character right now. Yeah, as I said, it's just kind of weird.
I know you've been singing her praises there lately, Zeros, man, but I mean, it has felt like at times, like the transformations are really strong as well from Mr. Stefano this Morrigan. He turned to Froisan quite a few times throughout this game in Batz. That was particularly powerful. We saw him turn in to the Persephone as well. I mean, I think if you're Horizon Union, you can run this back and just not throw that last fight at the very end of the game. I think you're okay.
Maybe. Then again, I think it's super hard to siege against Persephone. She has such long-range poke, she has her plants, obviously, she's safe, she has her ult as well. I don't know, I think they should take it away, probably.
And now
We've seen it once now, I think.
Yes. You've tested the waters once, now you got to get rid of that Persephone. Horizon Union will be in the first big spot here as they go into the picks and bans for game number 2. Exordium obviously will have that last counter pick with pick number 10. Thoth and Circuit banned, Thor and Isis. But now Horizon Union do change things up a bit and say no more to the Persephone.
I guess that means they don't play it at all, because like, they were first pick last game as well, if I'm correct.
Yes.
And then they didn't first pick it and they gave it away, so...
Clearly, it's something that they're not particularly valuing. They add the Morrigan into this first pick for them, which did work out very well. Like I said, Mr. Stefan had a great game on it, but I don't know that Morrigan's value is over Amaterasu's right now. She's such a huge tool.
I mean, in my opinion, she is, but...
Well, there you go. I trust your opinion.
She got buffed recently, right? Even pre-buffs, I still think if you play Morrigan good and your team plays good with it, I still think she is the best god in the game. And I think she's been for so long now, but yeah, like Amaterasu, King Arthur, both strong picks, so it's...
Well, it's like you said, man, her burst damage as a mage is really strong, and then also her potential with that change in ultimate.
I mean, you saw the replay last one, you just come in like one-shot 2 carries pretty much.
Take them out of the fight, man, assassin style, as Naja and Osiris will join this Morrigan. That's a good deal of setup and control now in these fights. Still need one more carry, I'd imagine, to give you maybe some AoE. That could be missing, but we'll see what they look to as Amaterasu, King Arthur, and Xing Chen come through. Get Alka back on that Xing Chen, and now you're adding a King Arthur and this Xing Chen. But where's this Ama going here now? Is it jungle?
Must be jungle, right?
Yeah.
I doubt it's King Arthur jungle, and doubt it's Xing Tian jungle as well, so pretty sure that's Amaterasu jungle. One thing as well that I never like when I play, because I've been playing a lot of Morrigan, right?
Yeah.
I never thought Morrigan Nasha is that great of a combo, because if you think about it, Morrigan wanna initiate, she wanna go on the back line. She's really bad at killing tanks in most scenarios. And you have a Nasha, if this is a Nasha jungle or support, it doesn't really matter. Nasha want to ult the front line most of the time, right? And Morrigan is one of the worst at following up on that, so I don't love the Morrigan-Nasha combination.
Well, that does make some sense. You want someone who can blow up those frontliners on the back end of that ult. But I'm glad they added this Cupid. I was just saying I thought they were missing some AoE.
Yep.
That could be hard to get sometimes from your Hunter. Cupid, one of the few, him and Ho Yi, that kind of cover that gap with their ults.
Exactly. Cupid can also, good, as I said, bad follow-up for Morrigan on the Nasha, but Cupid on the other hand has a lot of follow-up on the Nasha, so that's a good pick.
Raijin coming in for Exordium. I feel like we haven't seen nearly as much of Raijin here lately, but he's still plenty strong and can come online relatively quickly as well. This is not a bad draft Exordium have put together for themselves at all. They might have a chance to take down Horizon Union. Maybe not quite an upset amongst these two bottom teams, but we'll have our chance to see as Game 2 about to kick off.
Thanks so much, Vincent Zeros. Yeah, I'm excited to see if Horizon Union will bounce back after that Game 1 performance. They were in a good control for large majorities of that. However, Exordium on the defense, there's always a chance to come back into SMITE. In a positive sense of the word is what I want to say there. It's not like a forced situation. If you make the right plays and the team makes mistakes, you have a shot. And that's what happened.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if I'm on Horizon Union, you go over what went wrong in that last Phoenix Siege, and then you tell yourselves, hey, you know, we were winning for the majority of that game. We were right on the precipice of winning the game. We made one series of bad mistakes, and it lost us the game, but that's okay. You know, that happens. So I think that focusing on the good is important. Calvìn played really well, I thought, on, you know, filling in for Aussie. I mean, that's a good sign when your sub is playing well. I like the draft here from Horizon Union. I think that I'm starting to go on board with Cupid mid. A little scared against Itori's Ho Yi because this has been a real sick pick for him in this phase, but feel like Horizon Union have the tools.
That's how work with those autos too to keep working away, and Echrome's getting very low for the ricochet. Yeah, I'm a little bit suspect about the whole thing. Itori with the ricochet of the wall hit twice too to set that up, and still stood there and ate it. Hide in your minions, boys. Come on, it's not that difficult. You hide in them and you can't necessarily get hit by everything.
All right, well now I'm not feeling quite as confident if I'm on Horizon Union because Itori on his best god just got first blood
Markus,
all by
though,
himself.
Gotta try and punish him. At least gets the beads out after the sash. Markus not going to continue to the chase, though. Red buff wasn't up on that left-hand side. That was already given over to him moments ago, so won't really get a chance to keep the pressure on. But now Itori only level 1. Surprisingly enough, still has no beads. I was just thought with that combo rotation there from Calvìn, they might look to continue the pressure, because Blink was available, but I guess the call from Horizon Union was just to let Echrome farm instead.
Not a whole lot of damage in this 3v3 at this point. Post level 5, it'll ramp up and do quite a bit, but right now, I mean, Echrome's level 1. He's not going to do too much on this Cupid. The big thing for me in this game is how well can Froisan perform on Ama jungle. I think Ama is one of the best gods in the game. I really think she's only second to Isis right now, and I just wouldn't put her in jungle anyways. I just don't think she's nearly as good there. Her build path isn't super great. She can't really, she does great base damage, so you don't need to build super, you could build pretty bruiser, but you still kind of want those levels if you want any sort of damage consistently. Put her in support, build her tanky, she'll provide for the team anyways. I think that either of those are better options. I'm not a big fan of the Ama jungle right now.
Does mean Exordium will have a bit more tankiness in the lineup then, but not as much burst, I guess is the real thing. But then they're looking at Angry on Raijin, who did get a buff today. Obviously this isn't the buffed Raijin version yet.
Yep.
We're still getting play. Raiju's back in action.
Yeah, I think we'll probably see a little bit more of him post-buff. Well, it's not hard because we've seen so little of him as of right now. Don't think he's super strong right now. Definitely think that he could have used that buff. I mean, his late game damage numbers are still okay. They won't blow you out of the water, but his early game damage numbers I think are really, really bad. They just do not feel like you just do not feel like you're doing a whole lot of damage. Once you get to 5-6 items, you'll be like, oh yeah, this is how this character used to feel all the time, but it takes that long, I think, to really ramp him up.
Do you reckon Combat needs a buff?
No.
I've got a good idea for one, that's why.
Okay, we'll maybe do a little trade buff nerf. Go ahead, you start.
Or would you want to nerf?
No, you start.
No.
You brought it up first, man.
No, because I need to weight my version of my buff compared to like what your nerf is.
Well, I need to weight my nerf in comparison to your buff.
That's fair. Let's have your nerf first. What do you think needs nerfing on him? I think he's perfectly balanced in all things.
No, I think he's overpowered right now. Because,
in what sense?
Because he does too much damage and has too much control and has too much HP and has too many protections.
It's not a real CC. Yon's not a real CC. It's a mez. It's not
Go on.
real CC.
Explain to me how a Mez is not real CC.
I mean, any bit of damage inside, it's not a stun or a knock-up, is it? They're guaranteed to do something every time.
No, you can Mez and walk away, and they're CC'd for 3 seconds.
Sure, but that's requiring nobody to hit them. And people like to hit yawn targets. I don't know what it is about that, but they do.
Oh, yeah, that's feel really bad when your Mez gets broken. And, oh, wait. Then they get slowed if they get broken from the Mez.
I was going to suggest that his Groggy Strike, you could, the longer you channel it, the more it'll root, but you can cancel it early to execute it quicker. So you're not just, hanging back there the whole time for no reason.
You think an instant root would be good on this character?
Yeah, it kind of be good.
Yeah, I think so too. Probably a little bit too good.
No.
Graham. All right, fine. You get your little instant root on him, and
it doesn't have to be instant. Just like look how long he's gonna hold it back there.
And he still hit 2 people with it.
It's too telegraph, man. Why can't it be instant like most major abilities? Huh?
Okay, sure.
Toth can use Final Judgment in 1 second. Why can't I Groggy Strike? Huh?
And if a Thoth uses Final Judgment without charging it, it does less damage than Epic Uppercut.
And I'm saying it would root less if that was the case. You see, I balanced it out a little bit.
Okay, sure. That'll be fine.
I just like tilting you about mages versus
we can add that.
Supports, that's all.
But the nerf that would go hand in hand with that is that he loses half his damage on all of his abilities.
You could take my passive off me instead. There's no point in it. It doesn't work.
No.
It's only good against towers. That's about it. You can tower down and it works.
I'm down to take the passive as well, but you also have to lose all the damage. You lose 60% actually of the damage on Epic Uppercut and 40% of the damage on Groggy Strike, because now you can instant cancel it.
Okay, but can I keep them in the air longer instead? I think that's fair with the Epic Uppercut. If you're going to take my damage off me, can I just keep them in there longer?
How much longer are we talking?
I don't know. What seems fair? Like a second. An extra second in the air.
An extra second in the air.
Yeah.
And that's every time.
Every time.
I don't know, man. That ultimate's probably pretty good already. Doesn't really need to do...
Or maybe when they're in the air, I can click my button 3 times and deal damage to them when they're in the air.
Oh, so you just want Naja ult.
Yeah, why not? But I stay on the ground.
Because Naja already has that ult.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Get out both.
Blink over the wall from Calvin, looking for the yawn, which does hit Alka. Itori immediately jumped away, but that jump away has put him under so much more pressure. He dropped the ultimate down on himself, but Echrome was there to follow up with the Field of Love. The dash wasn't the greatest, but Calvin's there with the Epic Uppercut afterwards. Sorry, not the Epic Uppercut afterwards. The throwback afterwards, and that sets up another kill for Horizon Union, who are now 3-1. Stefan, meanwhile, did solo down Angry in the long lane.
Yeah, that's a pretty good sequence of events, I'd say, for Horizon Union. You clean sweep them in mid, and then you go ahead and get a solo kill.
Seems a bit angry, this team now.
On the other side of the map. No, he's on Exordium.
No pun intended. I was about to say, damn it.
Yeah, that's easy for me.
I was just going to say, they seem a bit frustrated after what happened game 1 when they were in the lead so long, and now they're coming out racing.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what you expect. Mr. Stefan finds a solo kill. Angry doesn't even use the purification beads, so at least has those ready to go for the next attempt once Mr. Stefan has that ultimate back up. But this 3v3 in mid is designed to punish you for not having beads. And now that Itori doesn't have him for 100 seconds, he's going to be in trouble.
Maybe instead of a Naja-style Epic Uppercut, why about a King Arthur-style Epic Uppercut, where he just takes damage while he's in the sky? And I can stay on the ground.
No.
I'm trying to find the balance point of the fact that you were saying, he needs a nerf. And I'm like, well, he needs a buff somewhere then.
No, that's not how that works. If he's already really good, you don't need to buff him and nerf him. You can just nerf him.
No, that's not how it works.
It is.
Is it?
Yeah.
See, Doug's hovering over it. 15% of your magical power ain't that much.
Right, that's the initial damage, Grim.
Yeah, because if they're not dead on the initial, they're going to land and be fine.
Right. So here's the thing. That does 800 damage.
I just want to notice where it says knock-up time, how long it lasts. I want it to be 3.2 seconds in the air. Let's go. Could be a bit longer than I expected. Maybe 0.5 seconds could be the best, actually.
Oh, how kind of you. Okay.
Echrome going to pick up Alka in mid. Uppercut from Calvin for 2.2 seconds in the air for Itori. Around the corner comes Cozy, and Calvin could be under pressure here. Going to get stabbed in the back of his head. And Excalibur does work as per usual. Echrome does get away for a second until Angry pops the drums of war. And that'll end his life. Itori does claim Calvin's passive. As does everything in this game. It feels like poor Kumba.
Poor Kumba. We all feel so bad for all the Kumba players, man.
I will be honest, I'm kind of excited to see Kumba and Xing 10 in the same game, because those two are like 2 of my favorite supports.
Yeah, they're 2 supports that annoy me the most. Xing Chen isn't that annoying to me. I mean, he is.
Oh,
when he's,
if you know what you're doing with him, he's the most annoying thing.
no, there's no way he's nearly as annoying as Kumba.
Really?
It's not possible.
I disagree, man. At least you can lock down Kumba.
I would rather play against Geb every game than play against Kumba every game.
No
I hate
way.
him that much.
No way.
Yeah, I hate him.
You want a massive shield,
Yep.
a knock-up, a percentage health ultimate on you, and a really good escape at engage.
Look, I don't like playing against Geb every game either. I'm just saying I'd rather do it than Kumba. I hate that
That's
character.
crazy.
I hate him.
I know. As a Kumba player myself, I'm like, he's not that great. He's kind of, he's had good games and bad games. He's good against hyper carries. That's what you look at Kumba as. But you don't play hyper carries. You're a mage.
Yeah, but I'm hyper carrying
Like,
the
it's
game.
not like you play the Souls and the Freyas and stuff. You play, like, the Raijin. It's like, why do you care about Kumba? You don't do nothing to
I'm
it.
not playing Raijin, man.
Oh,
At
no.
least not until the patch today.
Good save. Froisan forced to ult away from Calvin there, surprisingly enough. It's 43 on the scoreboard now. I'll stop talking about god buffs and nerfs unless you've got some in chat. We'll answer those as well, of like what we deserve to be buffed and nerfed. I'll even pull it up. Markus being pressured in the jungle, or should I say, engaged in the jungle for his overextension. The ring toss will help him out from the chase potential. The
Yeah,
extra
what a
mobility
terrible
gets him
ability
away.
Mez is.
And a 2.2 second epic uppercut from Calvin only buys him a bit of time to escape there for now.
Man,
It's
that
a little
yawn
bit
looks pretty
longer.
terrible there, huh? Only Mez 4 people and then slowed them when they got woken
I mean,
up.
Terrorem woke him up like a fool. Like they always do it.
Yeah, that looks really bad, man. A 40% slow if they get woken up. Yeah, that is really. You're right, Graham. This character is real bad, for sure.
Do you know once upon a time Mez duration came down, and that's when he was bad.
Yeah.
That's when he stopped getting played, when they came down from 3 seconds. No jokes. We buffed it back to 3 seconds again. He's competitive again.
Bring me back to those great days where
After
I didn't
2 seconds.
where I didn't play against this character.
But that means you just get more Hercules and Soulbacks. Are they worse?
No, there is no Guardian I hate as much as Kumakarna, for
That's
sure.
crazy. That makes me so happy now.
That is ideal for you, isn't it?
It is.
That it's the most hated character.
It makes me want to play
Yes.
more Kumba because you don't like it.
Yeah, that makes that actually that tracks for me for sure.
Every playtest I'm ever in now, and we're
Oh,
against each other, it's Kumba
God.
coming out. The thing is that
I'm
you're
gonna
pick,
spam taunt you, dude.
I was gonna say you're
100%.
gonna pick the worst gods for Kumba matchups every time.
Yep,
I can
I'm
see it
gonna
coming.
spam taunt you 100%.
You're gonna be
I
like
will say
Chonga, Raven, like yeah, okay.
I will say that of the times where Kumakarna is cool, it is only with Cupid, because you can launch the heart bomb.
Now that is a
minion.
cool interaction.
That is cool,
So-
and I'm down with that.
For those at home that don't know that interaction, if you heart bomb a minion and then throw it back as Kumakarna, it will explode.
It
in the
becomes
air.
a launching
It's a
bomb.
grenade.
Yeah,
it's
it is
literally
a grenade.
that you can throw. Stefan trying to slip away. Oh, he got spotted. When Angry didn't realize where he was. Stefan still panicked though.
Yeah, I don't know about
Transforms into Raijin.
You got it.
Pops the drums of war and shows off Angry's whole kit to him of how not to use it.
Yeah, that was suboptimal, I would say. And
I'm getting delusional on this set already. I can feel it. The talk about balance has definitely thrown me.
yeah, that's all right. I mean, that's just how it's par for the course. Look, man, we can call a spade a spade. This has been a fun game to watch. Game 1 was really fun and competitive, but the stakes just aren't there right
Yeah,
now.
true. The stakes aren't there for this one. It's two teams that are just showing what they've got this week, and part of the league is good for them.
Yeah, it is.
And it's good for you guys at home to watch some Smite.
You're not wrong there.
I mean, they might not be at home too. I shouldn't say that.
Wherever you are.
They could be at school, work.
Well, don't be at school.
Why?
Unless it's in between
Don't
classes, of
tell
course.
people not to go to school.
No, I'm saying.
You said don't be at school.
Well, don't be watching at school.
There we go.
Well, but you can be if you're
Someone
in between
will
classes.
clip that, and we're in trouble.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Ryan Aggro Bailey telling kids not to go to school.
Well, I mean, if they don't want to.
Stefan under pressure from Angry, but will slip away with the stealthy, sneaky tactics. But Itori's rotating around, and Stefan could be pinched here because of it. Angry's going to try and rotate to the jungle here. I guess Angry's worried about the rotation.
They're
Wait.
giving him so much space.
Wait, what? All right, minions to the rescue. Stealth came in. Itori gets the kill. Terrorem got a lot of time to jump in on Angry, but won't follow up. He's worried about the rest of the team coming in. Gets a teleport out of Cozy, and that's going to force him to get ulted under the tower. Now Terrorem's dead because of it. Weird fight from Horizon Union and Exordium here, but it's coming up in favor of Exordium. The Gold Fury does stand, and I think momentarily you'll see Exordium go for this, as Markus is going to get chased through the jungle.
Markus does have his ultimate. Doesn't decide to use it aggressively quite yet. Echrome does have to dash away. Yeah, really odd series of decisions by both teams. I mean, Mr. Stefan goes to a place where he can easily be seen, stays in lane to try and back. I don't know, man. That was odd.
That's the only time Yorn works, right? When somebody else is CC'd on your team, because otherwise they won't hit. Only time it's beneficial. And you know what I hate more? Crusher. Playing as Kumbhakana with a Crusher on your team is the worst feeling in the world.
Why? They're 40% slowed.
From what?
Whenever they get broken from the Miz.
That doesn't mean anything. It should just be a stun, is what I'm saying. Just give it the Yorn a stun.
Oh yeah.
Right? And I'm not after
Yeah.
I'm not after a 2 or 3 second stun. You know, just a stun.
Would you rather have a 0.5 second stun than the Miz? I'd make that trade.
God, it's a tough trade, man. I'll do it if I get my Groggy strike faster.
No, it's only the Miz.
Cancel Groggy earlier to speed up, like you'll get a lower route, but you can speed up the animation. You know?
No.
Why not?
Because it's already really strong.
Okay, let's move on to a different god. Nox.
Okay.
Nox is 2.
What do you want to talk about with Nox?
Let's give it Scylla 2 treatment.
No.
She can detonate it early.
No.
It does less damage,
No.
but you could detonate early.
No.
Why not?
Because
She'd have wave clear then.
yeah, but that
You're
would.
about to say she's got wave clear now.
She's got wave clear now.
I am basically trying to trap you into saying things about mages that next time you try and say they need a buff, I can be like, you said they don't need it. And
Listen,
I've got
man.
the live words on air to
Nox, if I was the best mechanical player on the entire, if I got a genie wish,
If you were
right?
aggression.
Yeah, if I were constantly in my superior form, Nox would be broken. Okay, broken. The character is designed to be able to have a low hit rate because otherwise it's impossible to play against.
Froisan got to find a high hit rate with 2 of those 3 hits of the ultimate, so it's still a high percentage. Alka leaps away to live to fight for an extra second as Terrorem will jump on in and find him, and now Itori's overextended, leaps already on cooldown, blinking from Calvìn, a lot of that ricochet, but it is allowing Terrorem to get to the back line. On the other side of the back line, Cozy gets towards Markus, but he's not going to have the damage alone to find the kill. Gets surrounded and killed, as does Terrorem and Calvìn. It's a 3 for 2 in favor of Horizon Union. Bad news is, Horizon Union have more carries up.
Gotta start passing this back and forth, but you're putting the guy who has the least HP right now with his back to the team fight. Markus still has ultimate at this point in the team fight. That's kind of crazy. Froisan's still okay. Angry had to use the beads. Oh, wow. Good call. And Markus closes the gap.
Yeah, he does manage to use that sash and collapse, and now Angry just has to fall back towards mid. Stefan sneakily chasing. Will kill Echrome, who stepped up, and now Angry will get a double kill. It's a fiesta today, boys and girls, and me and Ryan were not invited to the party.
Well, we showed up. We just didn't know it was a fiesta.
That's pretty much what I was going with that. I was just trying to work out the words. Markus will fall in the jungle now. People will hear his screams. It'll be in comms mainly. As now Exordium will head towards the Gold Fury. And probably has to secure this unless Calvìn and Terrorem can make something happen. Terrorem just teleports to Tier on the left-hand side. Calvìn coming in from mid, has no blink available. Will Terrorem get here?
He's going to steal this. He's going to steal this 100%.
You reckon?
Just the way this game is going. Oh, wow, he didn't get it.
I thought you were right.
I felt so. I would have put some heavy gems on that one.
I think it's because you said it. That was why.
Maybe.
You just cast a cursed it.
I changed the entire course of history. With just my words.
Pyromancer is up. A lot of people do that.
That is true.
That's how life works most of the time.
Yeah.
Pyromancer is up and available. Horizon Union could have looked for that now with the respawns coming through, but instead it's going to go back to farming again. Gold lead isn't much to speak of, even though Exordium just got that Gold Fury. It's kind of evened up the game, if anything.
It has. I mean, it looks like a Horizon Union lead for sure, but some bad decision-making, I think, from Horizon Union in that last team fight. It all started with that weird engagement on the left-hand side where Mr. Stefan starts backing in lane to me, but then the chase onto Angry, the Gold Fury pool in general on the 3v2 when both Mr. Stefan and Echrome were both very low, neither of which could tank. Yeah, you could pass back and forth with your health bar.
Died to Angry in the mid lane
that was real bad.
Terrorem being pressured around at the moment, has to be careful. Alka and Cozy have to be a little bit careful with Froisan in tow. Froisan has gone for the Blackthorn Hammer and the Shifter's Shield so far. Kind of the same as Marcus's build at the moment. But as she was saying, it can cause some problems. Froisan going to use the ultimate as Alka with the Whirlwind of Range of Steel sets him up perfectly.
That's pretty good.
Probably pulled the fire giant there if I was Exordium on purpose to give extra damage, but they didn't really need it. Nice stun from Stefan hitting 2. That'll force Froisan away and set up him to try and put the pressure onto Alka. But with Angry and Itori closing in, he has a Drums of War too. That pushes Stefan away back to the safety of his tower. Does detransform at the best time, and Cozy hit the dead body, or was that the clone?
That was the clone, and Mr. Stefan's
Hate
gonna
to see
live
it.
for it. That is nuts. I wonder if they've realized it at this point. Cozy is still gonna be able to CC and kill Echrome here for sure. As it's looking awfully good for Exordium right now. That's a 4 for 0.
It was cool, but I don't think Stefan had much involvement in that. He detransformed and hit stealth as soon as he could. And it worked out the same time as Cozy used Excalibur's Wrath. Now the Fire Giant for Exordium could be looked at here. They actually won that team fight pretty handily. Reinforcements on the way from Stefan, though. He's gone his way with full health again. But he's going to try and sneak in the pit. The good news is Alka's going to buy time to keep him busy.
Oh, he didn't to the Fire Giant.
The Fire Giant's still alive, too. Stefan will sneak away. Markus back in. He'll claim Froisan's life, so only 3 members with the FG at the moment. Itori's going to be careful, too, because Markus' ultimate is up very soon.
Should have it any minute now. No blink for him, though. Angry still here and can put out some solid damage onto Markus, but yeah, good play by Mr. Stefan. Doesn't end up getting the steal. Tried to 2 Froisan there, I believe, instead of 2ing on the Fire Giant, but he didn't have vision, so he couldn't tell how low the Fire Giant was. That's the spectator bias by us. It lets us see exactly how low that was. And unless that ward was there, not sure if it was that it's kind of sitting in Fire Giant pit right now, but still Mr. Stefan does the job, delays as much as he can, gets a couple kills. Still not ideal for Horizon Union, but at least they have a fighting's chance against 3 Fire Giants instead of 5.
Horizon Union try and find something on the map, and that's going to be the Pyromancer here. Just looking at Itori's build as well. Went for the extra... Well, I'm trying to work out whether I even like it is my problem with this. Is the Toxic Blade that he's picked up. I do like the item. Is there that much sustain that you're worried about, though? I'm not so sure.
Not so much.
The item itself is good stats, right?
Yeah, but exactly. I mean, it's not bad. It's not my favorite here either, I don't think. I'm not in love with the build, but
well, it's not good against Echrome. And maybe Echrome will need it right about now, but if Itori misses everything and then drops the ult for celebration factors, the damage from the ult was pretty good. It was better than the ricochet, that's for sure, and the leap too, but the dash was still available for Echrome to fall back to safety. Exordium using the FG to their advantage, though, taking down the mid tier 1, now rotating left.
Primal Fury up in a little bit less than a minute, so this is an easy tier 1 tower on this long lane side. Could be a tier 2 if Exordium wants it. If I'm Horizon Union, I do not want to give this tier 2 up. I mean, you're going to fall too far behind in gold, but it looks like they might not be in position to defend it.
Markus and Terrorem trying to wrap around the side. Calvin is on the scene with a Combacan and the Blink available to try and initiate, and will do so. 3 members yawned on. Angry will be to Fields of Love, also consumed by Echrome. Stefan uses the Drums of War to use the epic uppercut after following up onto Alka, but it doesn't do much of anything.
That was funny. Double Tycho drums. Froisan going to blink in. Dazzling offensive. Finds no one.
Terrorem, though, on the backside, got a very good load of the Afterlife to keep the back line busy and away from the fight. So it's just 1 for 0 so far as Froisan falls. And Exordium have to turn tail with the FG. Markus won't let that happen for free as he managed to find the ultimate there onto Angry, and now Alka will fall too. Good defense from Horizon Union. They could look for some towers themselves here.
Yeah, this should be a lot of towers. I mean, Primal Fury is also pretty much guaranteed. I think that you wait on the Fury, though. You can get that on the way back. Just a little bit of an odd one there from Exordium sticking around. It was a great blink engage by Calvin, and he CCs 3 people for over 3 seconds because that Mez is pretty good and far better than a 0.5 second stun would be. Ends up being a big deal because it gets beads from both Angry and Itori at the exact same time. Markus has a good fight, and Echrome has a great fight. He was able to consistently put out really, really good damage. Terrorem was really difficult to handle. And ultimately, this Ama jungle for Froisan has been a complete non-factor. I mean, he's done less damage than Alka so far. Got insta-killed there yet again, has not found a very good dazzling offensive, and I think this is exactly why I was highlighting the problems with Ama jungle towards the beginning of the game. It just doesn't do the things that Ama usually does because she's not tanky enough. You don't need to build damage. Your ultimate does 1,000 base damage. 1,000. It's really 995.
You're really on that, man.
That is insanity.
You've been saying it for weeks now.
That is insanity. You know how many ultimates do 1,000 base damage?
Most mages?
No, not most mages. Not even close.
Really?
Yeah.
Through space and time feels like it hits for 10 billion most of the time.
That scaling is where that damage comes from. With scaling, lots of mage ultimates can hit 1,000, but it's because you have to invest into a ton of power.
But I mean, Abyssal is hard to hit.
Really now? That's the direction?
Well, I mean, there's 3 hits. You've got to hit all 3.
Right, and they slow as you hit them, so you can guarantee it that much more. And she's faster than you.
God, all you want to do is complain about every class but mages, don't you? Hey?
Stop me when I'm wrong on
Hey?
Ama ult, man.
I mean, sure, it does 1,000 damage.
Plus 150% scaling, just saying.
Well, she's not building damage anyway,
I
technically,
agree.
does she? So you don't really
Well,
worry
you get
about the
free
scaling.
power from her one, so it does matter.
So how much do you reckon it should do?
How much?
7
Yes, 7 damage.
per hit.
I think that a lot of warrior ultimates kind of cap out around 800. I think a little over 800 would probably be good.
Or we leave the damage and take the stun off.
Sure.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Wow. So you think the damage is less impactful than the stun?
Not always.
Cozy, blinking to the backline, putting pressure on as well, trying to get towards Alka now. Sorry, Alka gets towards Echrome and throws him into a dangerous area, but not close enough to really get picked off. They'd have to use the Aegis though and drops the Fields of Love in a very awkward spot, but it will create a bit of a zone for a second or two. It's all about trying to get to Froisan from Horizon Union as they try to collapse, but still not found a kill just yet. Calvìn get a good yawn off 3 targets and Exordium there to try and separate it, as Alka is still chasing onto Terrorem on the left-hand side, but that's a solo laner versus a support. No one's going to die in that one. Bit of a whiffed fight from both here. Plenty of relics consumed. However, it kind of balances out when I'm looking at them.
And the sustain from Echrome is going to be relevant in this moment. That is going to make a difference. And in fact, it's enough of a difference to let Horizon Union pull fire.
Cozy just teleported back in with full health, has his ultimate
So
too.
does
Terrorem going to come around the left-hand side with the same sort of play, but Markus finds the stash on Cozy. Cozy into the pit, looks towards Calvìn. Fire Giant still leashed here, so he's taking a bit more damage than bargained for. And the pull of the Pyromancer means they may initiate that just based off the fact that happened. Exordium, all the while, we're just busy farming up their jungle and waiting for the right opportunity. They're not too upset about the Pyromancer. It's only a 3k lead for Horizon Union.
Might be Exordium's turn to just pull fire. I mean, you know that Horizon Union don't feel super confident in this moment, but with Angry backing and he's heading towards red, this should be a backup from Exordium for sure.
Yeah, Angry's so far away from this that Horizon Union shouldn't recognize the opportunity. No one's gone to base just yet, and with those hearts coming into play from Echrome,
Now we pull again.
the resustain should be good, but Stefan's trying to pick an angle and find an angle onto Alka and does so. Alka gets a good ultimate off. The Sunsword drops a little bit too far. Back, I'd say, but it does at least prevent a bit of a field. Calvin's still diving on with the uppercut, does get hold of Itori, who's away, but Markus gives chase and finds the ultimate there. Markus claims credit for 1 life as Calvìn overextended will fall down. His passive consumed. Markus in the tail end sets up the kill onto Alka. Stefan credited with that after Markus falls 2 for 2. Jungle and support for mid and support.
This is a good fight now for Exordium because they've got frontline and damage courtesy of Angry. Terrorem in Horizon Union kind of in the same spot, but without ultimates, I think Horizon Union are much, much worse than Exordium. These Morrigan transformations have been really, really unimpactful. That's the word I'm going to choose to use here. They have not been good for Mr. Stefan so far, and he's still top damage, which goes to show you how much he's providing in base Morrigan form, but I think he's got to be finding better transformations. I just don't know that Angry is the best target. Rising damage is slow. It takes time to go out. I mean, Taiko Drums is a slow projectile. Can be really good, but it's probably just time to turn into the Amaterasu and hit someone for 1,000.
I mean, I was going to say as well, it does give him CC immunity for a long period of time, but then again, so does the Amaterasu. Right?
And you get more protection.
Yeah.
You're just changing from one backliner into another backliner is usually only good in those 1v1s. It's not great in the team fights because you need to be able to hit a backliner and then still survive. And so that's why you usually turn into tanks that do a little bit of damage, which is all of them in this game, because that's the fun of SMITE, of course, smile. And so you want to end up being able to get out at the same time. You just want to have only
you do damage, don't you? Everybody else is going to watch you do damage and watch you carry.
I do think Guardians and Warriors doing damage is good for the game. I do think that. I'm just having a bit of fun.
You still complain about it too. Epic uppercut from Calvìn on towards Alka, who's from running well. Sash from Markus to follow up. The Suns dropped down, but the Suns aren't hurting too bad. Markus did get chipped away at a little bit. Cozy going to try and pressure back Markus. Could look for the ultimate play, but instead Stefan turns again in towards this Raijin to set up a kill on Cozy. He's using this for control, it feels like, and it's allowing Horizon Union to beat down another member of Exordium. This should be a fire giant.
2 picks onto the front line. I don't think Exordium's interested in walking in, and this will be a fire giant. And Alka, again, just kind of gets blown up. Hasn't been able to find a whole lot of farm. 2 levels down to Calvìn, and the itemization is a pretty big discrepancy between the two right now.
Oni Fury started by Exordium. I like the call from them to recognize they can't do the Fire Giant and maybe steal this away. Do you know what? If he actually hit that, I think Terrorem would have got that. But he was just out of range. I think he was using it for the mobility more than anything else if he could. But now Froisan getting a little bit greedy, going for that camp there. And Markus and Terrorem are here. And so is Mr. Stefan. So Froisan going to get heavily invested on potentially.
No, Markus.
But overextended from Horizon Union again. And that's a Fire Giant buff wasted.
Markus tried to get cute, use his ultimate for CC immunity to try and hit the Amaterasu as soon as Dazzling Offensive wore off. But you still have that little bit of moment of CC immunity, it feels like, and that really does cost Markus right there. Walked straight into oncoming traffic.
You can see it's kind of cost Horizon Union a bit more than that because they had a push going on the right-hand side at the same time. But in a 4-on-5, you can't continue, so they have to fall back now, buy up some items again, and regroup once Markus respawns. 17-18. Horizon Union looking to tie this one up and looking good for it at the moment with how this is being played out. It's not been the prettiest game of SMITE, but it's been high impact and kill frenzies, which at least is something to talk about.
Yeah, there's been action, that's for sure. It looks like it's not stopping now.
See, it doesn't do anything. Still gonna die.
Oh, you think a 0.5 second stun would have been better there?
Yeah?
No.
You could have blinked away.
Well, you could blink away with the miss.
I mean, yeah. Terrorem on the backside, going to try and re-aggress as Mr. Stefan does kill Alka. The tier 2 tower fell for Exordium here. Round in the corner, Froisan's rotating in and has his ultimate available to try and get round the back, and does so. It's going to find the stun onto Echrome and get the beads out of Echrome. Mr. Stefan just survives for now. Froisan low on mana, Cozy trying to zone away, but tries to fall back to support Terrorem, or the Terrorem who's aggressing onto Exordium. Markus kills Itori, turns his attention towards Angry now, and the overextension from Exordium is now punished. It was a good play to go for the tier 2, they just didn't get out of dodge quick enough.
Hey, does this look familiar? Team sieging the late game, end up getting clean wiped basically, and might just outright lose the game off of it. That's exactly how game 1 went, just in favor of Exordium. Bad fight to take if you're Exordium. It's just an odd one. I mean, you're chasing a level 19 Kumba around the jungle. That's not going to work out well for you. Angry was really low on mana and ran out towards the end and couldn't end up surviving.
Alka and Froisan can't defend this left-hand Phoenix on their own. They'll just play it safe and try and hold on to their Titan here. Alka slows them down a little bit. Good whirlwind of Rage of Steel. If I had that, though, I probably would have waited for him to get in the pit and try and throw him into the fountain. But game 2 is going to go to Horizon Union. You're right, they managed to end.
Just the counter end, right on time. Looks, yeah, they'll be able to get it here. But ugly, though, back and forth. Game 1 was much cleaner, I think, from both sides. Hoping game 3 can be a little bit of a return to form.
So real look back at that game of where you feel Exordium in the jungle looking at Froisan with that.
Yeah,
Amaterasu,
100%.
something different there.
Pick Ama, don't put it in the jungle.
Support solo.
100%. Give me those 2 roles. I think it's way better in both of those. Jungle, it just doesn't do it for me.
Well, 1-1, all tied up. Still everything and nothing to play for because it's the bottom end of the European Minor League. We've still got other games to come to today. We'll see how those work out. What are you expecting for game 3?
Something a little bit more similar to what we saw in game 1 from both sides. I think both teams are going to realize that, hey, our game 1 comps worked pretty well. Maybe we just go back to those. Well,
the desk is standing by to break down game 2 and discuss whether Combo should have a stun.
I got the answer for you, Hindu man. It's no. The answer is obviously no. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you expected to be different. No is obviously the answer. But at the very least, you had a good game right before that one there where now Horizon Union give Exordium a bit of a taste of their own medicine with a sudden reverse in when Exordium are the ones with all the momentum. I still have Zeros with me here on the desk, man. And it's a game of throws, I suppose. It felt a little bit like here in this set here so far. What'd you see?
Yeah, not necessarily a game of throws. I felt like they had like some momentum with the Morrigan. I feel like whenever they took fights with Morrigan in the jungle, they were winning for the most part.
Yeah.
It's just, I think it's kind of weird turning into Ryan all the time.
That's perfect.
Yeah, he gets the solo killer, I guess, so that's nice. But for me personally, playing Morrigan, I've always liked to initiate, turning into a tank and start the fight. But with Mr. Stefan here, we see like he like initiates with the 1, then he turns into Ryan and kind of goes into the backline, which I guess, I mean, they won the game, so I guess it worked out. Like, that was so interesting with Morrigan too, right? There's so many different playstyles you can have with this god.
And I agree, and I think that it just goes to show how much value Mr. Stefan was getting out of the Morrigan Mage kit as opposed to the Morrigan transformation into someone else's kit. I mean, he's the one that made the big play on the FG where he didn't steal it, but he killed 2 people with it. I think it was jungle and support afterwards and stripped the Fire Giant from them and robbed some Exordium's momentum and stalled them out. And then there was this belabored siege on the left-hand side, man. They spent so much time trying to kill Calvin on this.
Yeah, that was so weird. And I think they used probably 5 ultimates trying to kill him, and then they would dive into tier 2. I think the aim ended up suiciding, and they just lose the game of it. Super weird.
Yeah, it wasn't the right play, I would say, either, man. I mean, they used, at the very least, they used Itori's ultimate and Alka's ultimate trying to kill Calvin at the end of the game. And you heard them mention during the game, that's normally Asti, I believe, that's in that slot there for him, but it is Calvin here today. And he did much better, I think, on this Kumbhakarna than he did previously. I think he played the Khepri in game number 1, so this Kumbhakarna definitely looked better here for them. Really, a lot of this work was done, I would say, by Mr. Stefan. Yeah. Some good work done as well by Echrome on the Cupid, but for the most part, I think this Morrigan saved him here.
Yeah, for sure. As I said, kind of weird transformation in my opinion, but I mean, it worked out. Look at it. He did a lot of player damage, so like, it's just so hard to teamfight in the jungle against Morrigan, because like you have to have so much vision, or like she ever gets to your backline and she gets the transformation off, like you just lose the fight straight away.
If she's able to get back there, find a stun, and drop the Changeling as well. So we are just about ready to start moving into the picks and bans here for game number 3, the decider match. And I think Ryan made a good point there towards the end, that was a little bit sloppier than what we come to expect, especially Horizon Union. They've picked up a little bit towards the end of the phase. I know that these games don't mean quite as much for them, so we don't want to, hold their feet to the fire too much. But I do expect this to clean up a little bit here in this 3rd game.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned it a lot of times, but like, you want to show off, like maybe they still lose as a team, like individuals, like this is like the end of the season for them pretty much. You want to look good, so like you have a good chance next season come in to join a new team maybe, or maybe rebuild this team, who knows.
Exactly right. You really don't know exactly how things to be looking to. You want to make sure you're putting your best foot out there. Exordium will be in the first pick this time. They ban away the Thor, Horizon Union banning away the Thoth, and Exordium banning away the Morrigan away from Mr. Stefan. Not going to let him have this pick back.
I think that's a good thing. Like, even both games, he's been giving them quite some trouble, and like, it is really annoying to play against Morrigan as well. And you can tell that they're pretty confident with playing with the Morrigan as well. So I think that's a really good ban.
Persephone and the set band away. That means Amaterasu and Isis are going to be making it through this time, and Exordium go directly to Isis and pick her up for themselves. This is a huge control tool, obviously nearly guarantees that you're able to pick up the objectives, but they're picking it over the Ama, and that can be tough sometimes, man. I mean, but to be fair, we just saw it in the jungle for Froisan, it didn't look that great.
Yeah, I wonder, like, they have King Arthur, Amaterasu again. It could be the Amaterasu jungle again, but I really hope it's King Arthur solo and Amaterasu support, and rather get like some assassin-style early game jungler.
I'm hoping so too, man. I feel like Amaterasu does so much better, which he's either able to get a bunch of farm and get tanky, or just build tanky right from the beginning without having to be worried about how much damage he's dealing. Froisan was kind of stuck in this weird in-between spot, as Exordium have the Unbots and the Jormungandr. I know you're a big Jorm fan over there, Zeros.
Yep.
Oh, and Ullr getting picked this time here too. It's a whole bunch of the stuff you like to see.
Thinking about it, Ullr should be pretty good against Isis, I think, because like, Isis has no CC immunity in her kit. If you can drop an Ullr out on top of the Isis, she's stuck in there unless she beats, but yeah, I think Ullr should be really good against Isis.
Should be able to get her every time. Horizon Union banning away the Khepri and the Xing Chen, but Geb is still out there and certainly a viable support here at this point, or if they want to go aggressive. We're hoping that this Amaterasu is support, so then Horizon Union might not end up taking it. That could come all the way back over to Exordium to potentially get that Geb.
That's an interesting mechanic, actually. Geb shield. If someone's in the Ullr ult and you Geb shield them, they're immune for the rest of the Ullr ult.
Right.
I'm 99% sure of that.
I'm pretty sure, too, that you are able to reposition afterwards, but that's not going to be the call here from Exordium. It'll be the Kuzenbo instead, and Kuzenbo won't have to worry very much about the ultimate himself. He can go into the watery grave and just keep on going about his business. And same for Hachiman as well, as he hops atop the horse. He'll be CC immune, so not some bad response picks once they see the Ullr come in.
Yeah, we talk about the Ullr all the time, like he's so good in teamfight, you need counter picks to be able to beat him, right? And now you have the Kuzenbo and Jormungandr. I feel like two gods with a counter ultimate to Ullr should be enough. I would kind of like to see 3 in most cases, but I think 2 should be enough, so we'll see if it's enough to shut down the Ullr.
And the Susano coming in for Horizon Union does basically guarantee that it will be support Amaterasu. Susano in the jungle for Horizon Union, trying to round out the drafts. Isis on the left, Amaterasu on the right. Real quick, which one do you favor?
the Ullr.
The Ullr, that's right. We'll see if Horizon can make that work. Get it back down to Hindu and aggro.
Thanks so much, Finch. And Zero's on the desk. Game 3 about to begin. Isis on the left, Ullr on the right, and here I am stuck in the casting booth with you.
Sorry?
Yeah. At least I've got Doug with me. Shout out to NA Cameraman on Twitter. Follow him for all the hot hip-hop news of the SPL behind the scenes. Don't know why I said hip. I meant hip and hot news. I don't know if I said hot, but that's what it was. Hip-hop?
You know,
like, yeah.
Doug, you're just local neighborhood hip-hop head. You know?
I mean, yeah, let's just go with that. Maybe that's what he listens to. I wonder if he listens to music while he's doing this.
Doug is probably going to have to go and start thinking about some hot hip-hop takes that he wants to tweet out later today.
Just link us some music, Doug, later on today, just so everybody knows.
Track of the day.
There we go. Track of the day. Hip-hop track of the day.
Yeah.
With Doug on the 1s and 2s. It makes
My
sense.
lord.
Big fight on the right-hand side of the start, or should I say poke battle on the right-hand side, is it's Kuzumbo and Jormungandr up against, well, Amaterasu support this game, and Terrorem on that King Arthur that we saw Cozy play a couple times so far.
I like this way more. I love this draft, actually, from Horizon Union. I think it's really good. Terrorem probably should be a little bit concerned about tower shots, but not too much as he just dinged level 2 on time.
But Isis.
But Isis is the best god in the game, in my mind.
I can agree with that too. I think she's very potent in a lot of areas, and it's funny that the changes did that to her, but they were consistent changes. Although the last buff that she really got was way more impactful with the shield, but the silence change, the length of time and stuff was really good. Pressure from Markus early here, looking for the opportunity. Wing Gust prevents the pull from Markus, and that should be taken away.
No, you can't be. That would
Why
be
not?
terrible.
Why would it be terrible? Take it away.
She can get nerfed in areas that are way easier to deal with as the Isis player.
Take it away.
No, thank you.
It helps shut her down more. Calvìn will find Froisan in the jungle there in a weird tale of events as Calvìn was only level 1 on the Amaterasu. The early game didn't work out so well with the pressure on the right hand side and that rotation to mid. He gets punished for first blood. Gives the monkey a bit more of a lead who's already got full boots online. The damage really swings. And I don't think Froisan expected that monkey bounce to hit Markus. He was looking for Echrome there. Otherwise, I think Markus would have lost a little bit more health than he did.
Just really good idea by Froisan to go with this early boots rush if they're going to try and fight early on. Batz is a character that clears very well now. Max a Sacred Monkey or get, you put a couple extra points in it. Certainly the early levels, level 1, level 2, it's super, super potent. And then you can go and get your Assassin's Blessing a little bit later. Smooths out your fight in this area. I don't mind this idea, but it is going to set him behind Markus in those Assassin's Blessing stacks by a considerable amount.
Maybe we take Spirit Ball and make it a Mez instead of a stun.
Here we go.
What about that? Why?
That'd be worse.
She's nerfing. We just discussed nerfing.
How about, like, I don't know, shield health, maybe some cooldown on the Spirit Ball.
All right, 30-second cooldown. That sounds good.
No, that's an ultimate.
No, that's what all of us are 30 seconds.
Like nothing, but no regular ability is a 30-second cooldown either.
I mean, it silences, it shields, it's pretty potent.
Oh, you want to make her 3 a 30-second cooldown?
Yeah, let's go with that.
It's worse than Geb's shield, and that's not a 30-second cooldown.
It does damage. No, it doesn't do damage. What am I talking about? It shreds. Shield doesn't shred.
Sure, shield is bigger for Geb, and it cleanses CC.
It hits multiple targets. Shield only hits one. You trying to get my Geb nerf now because of this? Is that what you're trying to do to me here?
Sure.
He's been OP for over a year. Itori mid lane will kill Markus in a terrible rotation back towards the mid lane. The overhand smash from Froisan caused problems. And there, if that was a Mez, he wouldn't have been stunned as long. I'm just saying. Those minions wouldn't have got as much free damage there.
Right, for sure. You know, while we're on the topic, you know who probably needs a nerf in the Guardian tab?
Go for it.
You think Auburn's listening right now, by the way?
Is it Khepri?
Yeah, it's Khepri.
I mean, he's been out of the meta for so long. I'm not saying he doesn't necessarily need a nerf. Let people play with him a little bit, you know?
Graham, do you know what his win rate is in the SPL?
Let him have his time in the sun.
75% plus, man.
It's pretty good. Stefan needs a bit more help here, and luckily he's going to get it from his ultimate. The longest somersault in the world. That's a 9-point in the Olympics, but it's not going to get him anything else. In this engagement, Stefan will survive as he runs out of mana at the tail end there, Froisan. And that's the pressure that an Ullr can bring, or like counter pressure is the best answer to that.
But it's a long window where that isn't possible anymore. I mean, Stefan doesn't have any CDR, doesn't go for Mage's Blessing, goes for Hunters as is usual. right there. I mean, you're looking at 2 minutes basically on that ultimate that it is down, and your beads being down for about as long. So you've got a large window here if you're angry. I think that you can likely find a solo kill if Mr. Stefan doesn't respect it.
Purple buff taken away by Angry there, given over towards Alka 2. And you can see Calvin only at level 4 at the moment, struggling a little bit on experience. He will catch up. It's not too doom and gloom, but the problem is Alka does have that ultimate available now. And as a Kuzenbo, it's very, very disruptive and problematic. And he's got Blink, and he's setting up for it now. Stefan without his ultimate, without his beads. But the knockback timing was beautiful from Stefan. Bad mistake from Alka there, to be fair, but a good answer from Stefan.
Yeah, I mean, Stefan can only make as many plays as he's given the opportunity to, and Alka opens the door for him to survive there. That's definitely a dropped kill.
Susano, though, has had a lot of rise to fame, too. We were talking about Khepri, and we should come back to that 75% win ratio. But Susano has been on the climb in the standings, too, I would say.
He's been good, for sure. He's definitely a pretty strong god at this point, but still has weaknesses. I mean, if the early meta is, you know, Thanatos Rat, no Assassin's Blessing, Rush Boots, then Susano's unplayable in that meta, right? I mean, he is so bad pre-5 that that's, I think, why we don't see him a whole lot.
But Khepri.
Broken.
How is he broke? He doesn't do any damage.
First of all, it's not even super true.
He doesn't have a hard CC on every ability. Terrorem could do with a lack of CC against him here, and oh my goodness me, he escapes. The Jukes are good. He might get support eventually. Markus turns up towards the tail end, gets a good ultimate off, but Froisan with the ultimate kind of slowed down some of the aggression. Not enough to at least keep himself alive, but it did set up kills onto Markus and onto Terrorem too. Alka has fallen, and Calvin could be the next on the cards.
Cozy's able to finish it with that consuming bellow. Yeah, Terrorem lives just a little bit longer there, then that fight goes a lot better, but no Glad Shield for him. Instead goes for the Runic Shield. And look, Runic Shield is really good. It's really, really strong. It should be picked up more often. I would love a Runic Shield in the build for Terrorem after Glad Shield.
Because it's so core for the likes of a King Arthur.
I don't think that I can think of it. If there were 5 magical damage dealers on the other team, I would buy Glad Shield on King Arthur. It is that important.
And it's because of the passive.
It's because of the passive.
Yeah.
I don't care at all about the physical protection in that sense. Sure, most of the time it helps you. Right here, don't care about it at all. Just buy it.
Ooh, angry bit off Morrigan too, but will slip to the right-hand side. Calvin was on the rotation. But Stefan was out of mana there towards the tail end, and also now that with that ult being on cooldown, it's another chance for Exordium to get aggressive towards him. This game is balancing in on a knife edge to an extent. It's 1-to-1 tied up, and this is kind of what happened at the start of Phase 2 in Week 1, where these two teams took each other on. It did go 2-1. Horizon Union's way. Can they find it again here? With the composition they've got, they have the ability to do that.
I think that both of these teams have compositions they're probably pretty happy with. I mean, when you get 2 of the top tiers in the entire game, I think both sides are going, oh man, can't believe we got away with getting Isis, or can't believe we got away with getting
Ullr.
Ullr. Yeah, I mean, both drafts, I think, are pretty solid.
Alka under pressure, but the ultimate will buy him enough time to slip the net for now. Itori was rotating around, but he's going to be careful of Calvin, who's right behind.
Rip.
And that could set up Alka to die. Itori does at least kill Markus, though, to make it a 1-for-1, but that's a jungler for a support. So it goes in favor of Horizon Union, in favor of Exordium for the time being. Initial pressure from Froisan in mid, so not going to be any further follow-up as Calvin just going to farm up the wave. But the Hachiman's causing problems in this mid lane, working on that Transcendence, and at 4-0-2.
Yeah, Itori is huge right now. I mean, he is doing so much damage. 4-0-2, as you said, at top of the XP per minute charts. I mean, that's even above these side laners that aren't sharing a whole lot. This is not a good start for the Horizon Union boys. Itori has impressed me, and I think that just based on what I've seen, it seems like this meta really favors him in his god pool, because this is all hunters all the time. Plays a ton of Ho Yi, likes to go to the Chronos at times. This Hachiman pick, all of them feel pretty strong.
Man, just pop the circle of protection there, Angry. You could have just popped it, you know?
And not killed him?
Well, Stefan had used everything. It would have given him a second to maybe get a couple more autos in as he jukes around to try and get out of the circle, you know what I mean? And then still pop it at the tail end, get a nice chunk. I mean, circle protection does a ton of damage just without charging it up.
It does do a lot of damage.
Forget about it.
No, I think that what you want to do as Isis in this lane is really poke, then all in. I think that you don't have pure 100-0 potential.
Calvin going to get pushed into the wall by Alka there. And the Spirit Ball from Angry is perfect. But Calvin used the ultimate, which will give him the CC immunity to avoid the stun. And keeps him alive for now. Echrome will at least be able to go and get that red buff out of Horizon Union's own jungle. Froisan, though, is now on the rotation looking at Mr. Stefan.
That was sick. Great Spirit Ball. Mr. Stefan is going to have to use Purification Beads, or alternatively,
I don't think it would have mattered.
die.
I don't think it would have mattered. He actually, I think he went for the ultimate pop over the beads is what he was looking for, but
Just didn't get that off either.
get that off in time either. Terrorem trying to get aggressive on Cozy's side of the jungle. This is kind of what you want to do as a solo laner. If the pressure's elsewhere on the map and you've got a, well, not necessarily favourable matchup, but a matchup that you can't kill each other, go steal some jungle if you think there's a chance.
Oh, a really interesting build here from Terrorem. You're going no Glad Shield, then into the Ninja Tabai. Remember, King Arthur not affected by attack speed. He attacks the same speed all the time. It's his energy gain that goes up with that attack speed stat. I haven't really seen a whole lot there of that Ninja Tabai on Arthur.
Energy builds. There's so many different sort of, like, you know, ability consumption tools now. We started with Mon, and then we've got Rage, and then you've got King Arthur, I guess, is different too, and now we've got Yamoja, and now we've got Angry Day, who's out of mana, and also out of life.
Got his beads at the very least, so that is something that Horizon Union has to be ready for.
It's a good turnaround from Horizon Union, to be honest, after Stefan just getting ganked, and now there could be pressure on Alka, but a good long CC immune auto from Kuzumo gets him away from the stasis field, but not away from dying, and Terrorem's going to find Itori, and a good rotation from him again.
Yep.
He's really punishing them. That's where the Ninja Tabi comes in handy.
Right there. You sounded like an Austin Powers character.
I said handy, not randy. Does that make you handy, baby?
Oh, yeah,
I did not say
handy.
the word. When I said handy, I went, he's going to think I said randy because I know what.
No, it's just that it sounded like you said
sicko, guys, and handy.
handy with an EH at the very end. That is kind
Handy.
of Scottish almost.
Handy. Yeah. Froisan going to get some pressure onto Calvìn as they look to siege up that tier 1 tower on the left-hand side. Tier 1 tower did fall in the middle lane for Exordium though, and I think that's one of the reasons we saw Itori fall in that middle lane to Terrorem, was because he did overextend a little bit, but he did get 500 gold for his team, so it does kind of balance out there.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna get the solo kill, then get killed on the rotation, it happens. You stuck around to get the tower, maybe a little bit too long for Itori, but still has the pretty big lead. Did gift over a good chunk of change, I'm sure, to Terrorem for that shutdown bonus. Those are really important these days. Who those shutdowns go to can make or break a game. And normally, I'm not the, it doesn't matter who gets the kill. But if they're on a streak, it really does.
I was going to say, are we at that point now that teams have to communicate of like who should they give the kill to? There's an opportunity to do that?
Yes. Oh, again, only if someone has a bunch of farm or is on a kill streak does it really matter.
So you're in it for a hyper carry, if anything, really.
Especially one that's behind. You want your lowest. You really just want your lowest level character to get it at all times.
So you want your supports to get it, is what you're saying?
No, because they're not worth the golden experience as human beings.
We're gods? We're still gods too.
Yeah, loosely.
We're gods too. Hashtag, that's what we need that there. Gold Fury started by Exordium. Going to be a hard one for Horizon Union to stop when there's a circle of protection involved. Calvìn did what he could, but I like the fact that he did dip out towards the end and not eat the whole extra damage that would have come through. Froisan with a celebratory Fear No Evil that did actually get a little bit of Markus and help to set up something.
Hello.
But now the Stasis Field and the Fields of Love drop down by Horizon Union allows him to kill Angry. Terrorem trying to get Angry towards Cozy, but Alka's there with an interesting blink, was that? Yeah, it was. Interesting.
Gave it a shot, and this Runic Shield paying off for Terrorem right now. Cozy going to go into the ultimate and try and finish him off, but I don't think there's any way he gets this kill. It's 1 for 1, but
Gold Fury.
Remember, Exordium got Gold Fury, so I think they're feeling pretty good about it.
And they're up in kills now for the time being. So what do you want nerf into Khepri then? Because he's got a 75% win rate. Because you complain about damage. Well, Khepri doesn't have any.
No, it's probably...
He's only got what, 2 CCs?
Yeah, one of them in Abduct is one of the best in the entire game.
Why? No, he's not.
And then a ranged root.
It only got better because he actually got protections for doing it now. In the old days,
that's a good idea. Yeah, we can get rid of those.
Okay. All right. Just go back to the trash heap again.
Sure.
Because that's what happened with him. You think about it. That's the only thing that really changed. Actually, we did.
No, he's gotten buffs on the
buff
3.
The 2 as well, right?
Yeah, buff the 2, buff the 3.
Damage. What did we buff the 3 with?
I think it was duration as it scales.
That was
I think we brought up the back end. Well, it's always scaled, but we brought up the bottom end and by extension the top end as well.
Okay. I mean, I know we gave the damage. Number's got a bit of a boost on his wave clear, but
yeah, that's fine. I don't care.
And we gave him a little bit of extra protection. Now he's too hot to handle.
Yeah, I would. I think it's probably duration on the 1, and probably remove some of the protection as well. That's where I'd go.
No, don't like it.
Okay.
I like the one duration, that's why.
Is it because it's really good?
Well, yeah. I guess is the answer. Silences are always potent. And a pull.
Yeah.
What about we give him Sylvanas 3 instead on his one? So he just has to, he gets to pull them to him. Then he doesn't have to dive in like he does. And I think Khepri would be fine then too. It'd also be technically a nerf because you're not silenced on that pull, which means you've got an easier time of escape.
What is with you and just copy-pasting abilities on a
I love
different...
pulls, right? And we don't have enough of them. That's my issue.
How would you create another pull?
Let me think about that. We'll probably get time in this game because it's...
Pulls are just pulls. I don't know. They just pull you. Like Susano is...
There's going to be variation. I just had a brainwave. Okay, a Hoyi Ricochet style one, where I can bounce it off 3 walls and then pull them in. That's a different type of pull.
What?
How cool would that be as a support to bounce it off 4 angles and then pull someone all the way through like that? Calvin going to chase down Alka here as the Pyromancer falls. Circle of Protection's there to heal him back up. And Calvin sees a bit of poke damage. Gets back to the safety of Stasis Field. That'll keep him alive for now, but Echrome gets taken out by Cozy, who's up and down with the World Serpent. Terrorem did a good job of zoning away the other members of Exordium there for the time being, but it's Echrome that's a casualty. There's a lot of relics are consumed.
Man, there have been really good-looking Cupid alts, but then everyone just...
Is it because of the mushrooms as well?
No, it's just that they look like they're going to hit a lot of people, and then they CC immune out of all of them.
Cozy just blinked on by Terrorem there, looking to pressure him, knowing he doesn't have an ultimate. But they don't have the damage between those 2 characters. And Froisan, an assassin, gets aggressive against 2 tanks. Itori now rotating in is the reason why. And Alka with a very good blink catches Calvin. Would have liked Terrorem if possible, but they'll accept the kill onto Calvin. This could become a tier 1, but keep an eye on Markus, who's rotating around the back.
Only about half HP, but has blink. Froisan's dead. It might have cost Markus his life. It will.
It will. Spirit Ball does connect from Angry over the wall. The Typhoon didn't go off, but he didn't get a choice in where to aim it, as he was already dead. Unfortunate tale of events. 12-8 then. Gold lead only 2,000 in favor of Exordium at the moment, but it is still something to write home about.
Certainly a lead for them, and this composition in the mid game is really, really hard to play around because Isis still doing really good damage, and she'll do good damage in the late game with Spirit Ball, but Wing Gust kind of falls off pretty hard towards the later stages of the game. Right now it's still chunking for a good amount. Itori's hitting a big power spike now, finishing that Executioner, getting close to either Aussie or the Chin Size. And the front line for Horizon Union just isn't tanky enough yet to really withstand all this damage. I mean, Calvin's still only level 12. A 4-level deficit is an awful lot to try and tank in front of. So I think that Exordium's composition is really well positioned at this point in the game.
Oni Fury spawning soon, and Alka's trying to pressure onto Calvin and Stefan, who was setting up a trap, but they get trapped themselves by Itori and, of course, Angry. But it's not enough for a kill just yet, and Calvin will escape. It did cost Stefan his ultimate, though, and now Froisan blinks on in, looking to aggress. Can't find the monkey toss, and Cozy can't lurk close enough to get in range to knock them back up. Pressure relieved for now. As Exordium get away from the left-hand side, and 5 members strong look for the tier 1. Cozy recovering the angle in the area between left and the middle lane, but Markus is going to get a tier 1 in mid, and I think Cozy's trying to teleport back to defend it.
I don't know about using this teleport here. I mean,
he's not that tier 1 right, so...
Yeah, I don't know. I think you save it for the upgrade. It just feels like a tier 1 in mid is not worth a whole lot right now.
Now Cozy back in action, blinking from Calvin, looking towards Angry, but Froisan goes to Stefan, as the wrap from him and Alka was very, very good, and that put so much pressure onto the backline that Horizon Union was forced to collapse. It set up Itori for a double kill now. Now Terrorem does get towards Angry, but Angry's buying as much time as possible, and the wind gust will keep him away long enough for Cozy to find the kill on Terrorem. And Echrome, who hung around, will die for Cozy too. Only Markus left alive, his ultimate on cooldown. They're pinging him out, they know where he is.
Man, Exordium's playing so well right now. This is definitely a much improved team than what we've seen from them throughout the majority of phase number 2. They really are turning it up to another level.
I'll agree. I think I saw them like earlier on this past year, well, this phase, and I will say they've shown growth and they've shown potential.
Yeah.
And just gonna keep grinding on it more than anything.
Playing against good competition will do that to you. You don't have a choice but to kind of rise to that level. This Fire Giant call scares me, though. I don't know about this one. I mean, you just took too much time Calvin and Mr. Stefan are back up. Angry does have his ult though.
No frenzies available. Markus doesn't have his ult for a moment or two. Calvin's here, but he's waiting a while to get into the pit. Circle of protection dropped down. The ultimate ringing through from Calvin too. Spirit Ball will be enough, along with the circle of protection to get the kill. Calvin sat in the pit, died for it, and now Stefan is in the middle of no man's land and gets punished for that. Next on the list will be Terrorem, who surrounds and spins to win, but won't be winning today by the looks of this. Froisan gets a double kill, and now they can march down mid with the Fire Giant on all 5 members.
That Fire Giant call works out pretty well. Angry's ultimate doing the business, and Calvin earlier on could kind of dance in and out of it, take a little bit of damage from it. Not anymore, man. I mean, Angry is way too big. Calvin is still only level 12. He got one shot by that circle of protection.
Speed of the rush from Exordium is just too much to handle right now for Horizon Union. This Phoenix does fall down. Markus gets the ult off, only hits onto Alka, who reflects some of that damage back, and Calvin chipped away by Itori, who's at level 18, highest in the game right now after Cozy on that solo Jormungandr. Exordium looking very good for game 3.
Yeah, I think that when I'm thinking about how Exordium has improved and what they've done as a unit to get a lot better in a short amount of time, it really, for me, does come down to Itori and how well he has played these last few weeks. Getting that God pool under control, it's all hunters all the time, but it's fine because Angry's been doing a good enough job on the mages to balance out the compositions. He got really big early on in this game and really took Echrome out of it, and that is the worst feeling to fall behind as a Cupid, because you just feel like you can't really do a whole lot.
Horizon Union just trying to find something on the map here, and will do so in the Pyromancer. Guess it gives him a bit more mobility to try and get back towards those tier 2 on the left and the towers on the right. Exordium, meanwhile, just going to push out the waves now. Finally, Markus should be able to bring down that tier 1 in mid, and does so. Jet streams back to safety. As Exordium come back with more items and more wards to get control. Still another 2 minutes with the Fire Giant, so there's still damage to be done with this.
And I don't even know if Horizon Union can really defend these tier 2 towers. I mean, the question you always ask yourself, would we rather take this fight down 8k with them having Fire Giant on a tower where we are not as favored? Would we rather take the fight down 13k on a Phoenix? And I honestly think that Phoenix is probably just better here, especially if Exordium's going to come to you and try and siege the Phoenix, which I really don't think is a bad call by them. The only concern is that Itori doesn't have Aegis for 30 seconds. Otherwise, they should be heavily favored here.
5 minions pouring down mid on the archers in the moment. Alka blinks in towards the background of Echrome, forces them away. Still tanking up the front line is Cozy though on the Phoenix. Now Markus blinks on in, looking to aggress into Angry, but Angry with a very good Aegis keeps himself alive.
Nice
and Froisan just recognizes where the escape route was going to be and drops the Fear No Evil down to take the life of the enemy jungler.
Good night.
Froisan will get a double kill as Echrome falls too, and everyone piles in to the Titan.
All right, man, I would have told you Exordium didn't have a shot, but were heavy underdogs coming into this one. They looked great.
I mean, they took a game off Flashpoint earlier on this year as well. That was their only victory.
Their set win, yeah.
It was against Flashpoint earlier. Wait, set win, yeah. Overall, yeah. As the season went on, they found that win there. At the start, they lost to Horizon Union, but I do think overall Exordium have been playing better than Horizon Union as the phase progressed.
I mean, Horizon Union took set off Simplicity, I'm pretty sure. So, I mean, both teams have that top-end potential. Game 2 was a little bit sloppy, I think, from both sides, but games 1 and 3 were pretty clean smite, really across the board. Exordium was able to steal that game 3 away, or game 1 rather, away from Horizon Union, and that's really the difference maker.
Well, that was their 2 teams' penultimate games. They've got one more to play next week as well. We've still got one more game to come today, or one more set from Europe.
It's a big one
too. Yeah, it basically works out who could be coming to the LAN.
If Simplicity win, then Out Cold looks like they might be coming to LAN. I believe Out Cold's on bye this week, so they're not changing on their record. So if that does end up as a win for Simplicity and a loss for Flashpoint, then Out Cold looking great to come to LAN. But if Flashpoint win, who knows what's going to happen.
Sorry, Tori, there, 27k damage, top of that game, and they find the victory because of it. That's it for game 1 then. We'll be back after the break with this second set of the day.